Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, and welcome to the Morning Woodward Show. As always, thank you for everybody for joining us. Had to run over, so I wasn't late. Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Good morning, everybody. Fish, can I see Fish for a second?
Hi. What did you now?
I felt like me and him got off on a bad foot yesterday, so I want to start today positively.
Okay.
All right, Fish?
Yeah.
I like you, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Fuck
like
you.
Too. Oh,
all right,
cool.
Starting the show.
City Trophy today.
What an incredible fashion. Wow, 122-119. Sadiq Bey, the game-winning buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Wow, what a game. I'm going to be honest with you, Jeff. I don't care about the Pistons. I'm going to be very open about this.
I understand that.
I'm frustrated with the Pistons. Having said that, they actually played a good game of basketball last night.
Yeah.
Jalen Duren, to me, is the only guy I'm looking at this year, and I'm getting consistent night in, night out minutes, performance, you name it, he's doing it. Last night, 8 of 8 from the field, double-digit points, double-digit rebounds. What else is new with this guy? He's been unbelievable. You can argue, you could make the case he's impressed more than even Jaden Ivey has. That's how good he's been. Not to discredit Jaden, but that was my takeaway from last night. Jalen Duren's a beast, and the Pistons won a meaningless game.
Well,
go team.
It's a pretty interesting takeaway. No, I agree with you. The Duren thing, he actually had a double-double with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. So, man, he locked it up even before the game ended. But like you mentioned, perfect from the field. I think he had, of his 10 rebounds, 5 of those were offensive rebounds, which were huge. But down the stretch, Sadiq Bey, obviously we all saw the game winner. I watched that live. It was exciting. It was awesome. But even before then, the play right before Sadiq hit that shot, he actually messed up trying to get to Klay Thompson, and Klay had an open three. He hit that. But still, big for the Pistons, I think, overall on the season. I mean, third road team to beat the Warriors this season, I might add. And on top of that, it's the first time the Pistons have swept the Warriors since 2008, 2009. So, I mean, it was a huge deal, especially for this team. Even without Stephen Curry, they're on the road. They're facing a team that still has championship DNA. They battled. They were up in the third quarter, and then it started getting a little scary, right? The Warriors were clawing back. It was just nice to see them keep their foot on the gas. And Killian Hayes was back. He returned, put Sadiq Bey on the bench because he was starting while Killian was out. Sadiq Bey played well. He hit some big shots. But Killian Hayes, to me, although he struggled, 13 assists, just came back, 3-game suspension, just came back and immediately made an impact. I was impressed by that. But the biggest thing, the Pistons dictated the pace in this game. If you watch the first quarter, the Warriors all season, and if you watch the broadcast last night, they were talking about this, they're one of the best teams, not only in transition, which the Pistons struggle in transition defense, and that's something they had to work on. They did a good job of it last night. But on top of that, the Warriors are one of the best teams in the NBA in the first quarter. They averaged 30 points, so they get off to a quick start. And yes, that's even without Steph Curry. They get off to a quick start. The Pistons, though, early on in the game, they played good defensively right away. Now, towards the end of the game, it slipped up, and the Warriors shot 50% from the field. But still, they didn't let the Warriors drop 35 on them in the first quarter. So I like how the Pistons played. I mean, on the road, they're coming off an ugly loss to Portland. They lost by 30, and then they respond like that, earning a sweep against the Warriors. I was impressed. I mean, it was nice. It's one win. But still, it's good experience for these guys. How they closed that game as well. It was a nice drawn-up play by Dwayne Casey. The first option was Bogey. He was not open. Sadiq Bey takes it. It was a small little screen, I believe, by Isaiah Stewart, and just gets it off quick. And there you go. The rest is history. So shout out to Sadiq Bey, man. He earned it. He earned that shot.
Quality game.
He's had to take a lot of sacrifices this year, and to see him hit a shot like that, it was fun to watch.
And Bogdanovich continues to be an all-star level player with the Pistons. It makes no sense to me.
He's incredible. Now at this point, he played well last night. It's okay. You're just used to him.
You're used to him dropping 29. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. But having said that,
he's special.
The Red Wings also played last night. Huh? Okay, moving on.
I noticed Genchi was quiet. In the TV booth.
Yeah, it was bad.
I know
it was bad.
It was bad. I mean, they played a pretty good overall game, even strength. The 2 penalties in the second period just overshadowed really what was a good game from them.
Yeah.
But
What happened with Husso? Is this more on Husso or you blame the team? More
He
so?
just came back from an illness, so he didn't practice too much leading up to this game. So he might have been a little rusty, but New Jersey had a lot of good chances throughout that game, so I don't think it's much on him.
Yeah, and I watched probably the first and second period of that game, and I'm like, all right, here we go. But then I wanted to watch longer because we saw the Red Wings last week come back down from a big deficit. So I tried to watch, and then I was like, all right, this is
USA lost to. That disappointed me, broke my heart.
Didn't they have like 2 goals called back for,
for goal
goaltender interference?
Yep.
That weren't goaltender interference?
Well, one of them was, but people are debating which one. I thought the first one was.
I thought the first one was a goal.
Okay, yeah. And the second
one.
one.
The wraparound, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And the second one.
That was the one where the Canadian guy flung a stick at his own goalie, and then they tried to shove it in.
Yeah, but the puck was loose.
debatable.
If the puck is loose, you're allowed to attack the puck.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't attack the goalie.
Yeah, correct.
So how is it not a
to be
goal?
in the way? Well,
Look at these Canadians cheating, man. I got beef with Darren McCarty this morning. Him and every fucking Canadian. Gotta figure this out.
Well, they're probably going to win
it.
today against Czechia, so.
They are going to win. Connor Bedard is insane, by
he's
the
a
way.
guy. Yeah.
Would
I
be
enjoy
nice if
watching
somehow,
him.
some way,
Wings
the
get
NHL pulled, a Chicago Bulls for the Detroit Red Wings. We have no business getting the #1 overall pick, but we do.
No.
That'd be nice. I'm just saying. Having said that, moving on from the Wings, not much to talk about there. Wishful thinking. We got a jam-packed show today. I can't wait. 8:15. Aaron Rodgers. We got to talk about Aaron Rodgers because this will be the last time we see him at Lambeau Field.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, can we talk about a certain someone made a bet on Aaron Rodgers?
No. Moving on. Jesus Christ. Don't
I
worry.
was- Look at that awesome segue.
Just shut the hell up, Fish.
It's about American football. Lions Packers Sunday night.
8:30. The Detroit Lions are 1-8, by the way. Fun fact. 1-8 all-time on Sunday Night Football. Not the greatest stat. Not the greatest stat. 8:45, we got Anthony Broom. 9:15, we'll get DoseOfDion on, of course. 9:30. The last time Detroit Lions played the Green Bay Packers, it was an ugly 15-9 game. The Packers offense moved up and down the field, but Aaron Rodgers probably had the worst game of his life. Having said that, jam-packed show today. Can't wait to talk about it with all of you. Fish, why don't you shut the hell up? I mean, what misunderstanding do you and I have?
I don't know. I had a good segue for you, and you didn't like it, so I don't want to tell you.
Fish, you're a
It was
legend.
about Aaron Rodgers. There's a bet going on within the company, and I thought it'd be nice to share it because it involves Aaron Rodgers, involves some other famous person who's in the
Pat
sports
McAfee?
industry. Yep. So they're making a bet. We'll see what happens.
If I were to hit you in the head with a baseball bat, what would happen?
All right.
I'd probably die.
All right, cool. Now we know.
I mean,
We'll see what happens.
it's right here.
Well, if
So-
you have the bat, so technically he's gonna have to fight you for it.
But if you look at me, I don't know how much I can actually fight. So.
Well, don't say that. You have a bat.
Well,
Oh no, I have a bat, and I'll swing it. I'll swing it like who's a
swing
good
it like you
baseball
swing
player.
your dong around when nobody's watching. I know, but
Okay.
I know.
Official meat
I'll swing
supplier.
it like Shohei Ohtani, hitting home runs out of the park.
Hell yeah.
Go Japan.
Go Japan. You can't make this up. I wish this was scripted. I really do.
I love fish.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Phone lines will be open for a lot of you as well today. We'll go to the phones. We'll really get to interact with all of you today. We have, obviously, Anthony Broom and DoseOfDion joining us. It'll be a good show. DeAndre Swift is an interesting person to have a conversation about. Chicago was probably his best game of the season. Maybe you can point to Washington and say that was the best one, but my goodness.
I think didn't he have like 100 and something against Philly?
Yep. His first 2 weeks of the season
was
were so
incredible.
impressive.
Yeah.
But that DeAndre Swift is what you just expect. And if you're not going to get that on a consistent basis, we need to make a hard decision here in Detroit. So we'll get to that later on in the show as well, but we'll take a break for now. When we get back, Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, we got to talk about him coming up in a bit. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at the Lobster. Wow, Cousins Main Lobster. Excuse me. Jesus Christ, Adam, what are you doing this morning? Scan the QR code on your screen. What are you waiting for? Find out where the two trucks are and treat yourself to a delicious lunch. What are you waiting for? Main Lobster roll, lobster tacos, clam chowder soup, you name it, they got it. It's all delicious, fresh, and of course, it's great to take your coworkers, unless you don't like them like I don't like fish. Well, then just go treat yourself. So we'll see you guys in just a little bit. Visit cousinsmainlobster.com. We'll be right back with some Aaron Rodgers talk.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
All right, let me tell you about my good friends over at The Butchery, the official meat supplier of the Woodward Sports Network. No, it is not fish. It is The Butchery and Chef Dave. Sandwiches to die for, Wagyu meats, artisan breads. Visit thebutcherysl.com and order online today, or give them a call, 248-682-COWS. That is 248-682-COWS. We are back this morning here on the Woodward Sports Network. Gentry, get your shit together.
Is the sweeper not on here anymore?
Oh, no, he took that thing off years ago.
Oh, God.
See? It's not my fault. It's your fault.
Just use the
God.
Woodward one.
Oh, God. Zero's the number.
Yeah, but we had another one that you took off years
Shut
ago.
the hell up.
You
You have talked
No, fish.
enough
Fish.
this morning.
Speak.
You've talked enough.
Fish.
Mute your mic.
Hold your ground.
Don't
And
mute
shut
your
the
mic,
hell up.
fish.
Hold
Don't
your ground,
mute your
fish.
mic.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go watch in.
Go watch cricket. Fucking Japanese Canadian lover.
I think they
All right.
start in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, fish loves every country.
I know, buddy. I know. Jeff,
Yes.
leading up to Sunday, this could be the last time we see Aaron Rodgers play at Lambeau Field. This is a pretty historic game, actually. Right? Sunday Night Football. Playoff implications are on the line. Now, depending what happens with the Seattle game earlier at 4:25, well, we'll know if that game matters to the Lions. But Dan Campbell came out and said either way it matters. It's either we win or nobody wins.
Right.
So that's the mantra he's going with. I kind of don't mind it. Last time we could see Aaron Rodgers, maybe he retires after the year. This game has a lot of meaning. And we'll get to the Sunday night implications, the Lions being 1-8 coming up next. But to walk me through the mindset this game, you've got Aaron Rodgers. You've got Green Bay, Lambeau, historic field, on the road. Odds against you. Everybody's already favored the Packers and picked them to win it.
Right.
Lions' chances to win on Sunday night.
I like them. Now, that being said, it's still going to be a tough ask. I mean, for any team, especially a young team. I mean, you're going to Lambeau. It's Aaron Rodgers. Lambeau, as we know, is a very tough place to play, especially in January. But to be honest with you, you couldn't have wrote a script better than this. Like, right, end of the season, it's Sunday Night Football. It's the only primetime game the Lions have gotten all year besides Thanksgiving. And everything's on the line. Now, you like them to win versus Carolina, so things look a little differently. Maybe they clinch already, but the reality is we're at this point. And you were at 1-6, and we thought the season was pretty much over. But why this is such a storyline, too, you beat the Packers early in the year, and that's kind of what propelled the Lions into the win streak they're currently on, or the amount of games they've currently won. I think they're 7-2 over the last 9. It started with the Packers, and it very well could end with the Packers as well. So, again, big test for these young players. And that's what Dan Campbell kind of echoed all week in his press conferences, and I'm glad the way he said it. He had the perfect answer. He wants his guys to experience this because, like he said too, we're going to play in bigger games. That's our goal. It's going to be playing in playoff games, NFC Championship games, hopefully a Super Bowl. Obviously his goals are high. So for this game, at the end of the season, Sunday Night Football at Lambeau, this is nothing compared to where they want to be. So again, tons of experience for all the young players. Jared Goff, I mean, he's been in these situations before. I'm probably more looking at the defense than I am the offense. You got a lot more older players, that offensive line, Jared Goff. So, again, the defense is really what you got to pay attention to because you look at this defensive line, 3 rookies starting. Josh Pascal, Aidan Hutchinson, James Houston. You have a rookie linebacker, rookie safety starting. Those guys, I'm curious to see how they respond to this environment because no matter what we think of Aaron Rodgers this season, I know Stick's been harping on it. Oh, he's washed. He's this and that. And listen, I hate Aaron Rodgers just as much as the next guy, but I got a lot of respect for him. I do. I mean, he's a bad man. He's still Aaron Rodgers. And anytime you go to Lambeau, you understand what you got to risk. I mean, you see what happened to the Vikings last week, and I called the Vikings frauds. But still, they're clicking on all three phases of football right now. The Packers defensively, although they've had the talent, they lost Rashawn Gary early in the year, the defense is playing better. Jair is playing like we know him to play, not early in the season when he's struggling. The offense is finally clicking. There's receivers like a Christian Watson who have emerged. So this is a much different Packers team than the one you faced at 4-8 early in the year. So as much as I like the Lions' chances, I understand the risk here, right? I mean, the Packers can technically make the playoffs. Even they beat the Lions and Seattle loses, they make the playoffs. But even if Seattle wins and the Packers win, the Packers still make the playoffs.
If I were to give you a fair warning.
They just got to win, and they're in.
If I were to give you a fair warning. Last time these two teams played at Ford Field, okay? Packers held the Lions to 254 yards of total offense.
At home.
Kirby Joseph had 2 interceptions. Aidan Hutchinson had an interception, all timely in their own territory, right? This was a 15-9 game. It was ugly. It was one of the uglier games probably we watched all season. Packers moved the ball up and down the field through the air. That really wasn't an issue. Alan Lazard had a day. But what the Lions were able to do is stop the Packers' running game from developing. You held A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones to less than 60 yards rushing combined. That was the key. So now you're going into a cold Lambeau night likely. And what do you need to do? Yes, you need to respect Aaron Rodgers. Yes, you got to be cautious to an extent. Don't get beat deep by Christian Watson, yada, yada, yada. But it starts with your defensive front. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones out of the backfield. Make Aaron Rodgers throw the ball to Alan Lazard. Make him throw it to Christian Watson. Make him throw it to Randall Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
Do not let Green Bay come out early, establish the run, play action. Dillon and Jones out of the backfield when they're both on the field at the same time. Alone doesn't matter. This, to me, is a meaningful game, but a very difficult one.
Absolutely.
And I think we forget, just because the Lions won, how that game really played out. I mean, there was a 2-3 week stretch there where the Lions were winning games, but giving up 400 yards of total offense per game. 31-30, beat the Bears, and gave up damn near 400 yards against the Packers, but they won 15-9. Well, because the Packers couldn't punch it in the red zone, and you had 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Helps. So defense needs to play better. They're going to need to make a few plays like they did in the first game. You're going to look to a James Houston, a Josh Pascal, and Aidan Hutchinson. Can you get after this quarterback on third down? And that's why stopping the run, to me, is always so important.
Oh, absolutely.
You get Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers in 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and longs. Now we're having a conversation about, it's not that can he make the throws, but is Aaron Rodgers and his receivers on the same page? And you know what? So far this entire year, it hasn't looked that way. At times it has, and at times it hasn't. And I think you're going to want to make Aaron Rodgers beat you, as crazy as that sounds. I think the game plan going into Sunday, do not let them establish the run.
Yes.
Do not let A.J. Dillon get going. Do not let Aaron Jones get going. And be very cautious of who you line up on Aaron Jones when they split out and go 5 receiver set with a running back, of course.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones is definitely one of the guys that, I mean, you get him in space, he's dangerous. And on top of what you said, too, I agree. We could say a running game is a quarterback's best friend, but with the Packers, it literally is Aaron Rodgers' best friend. They're on a 4-game winning streak. In that streak, they've been running the football, and that's been the big difference. This season, when the Packers run 50% of the time, they're 5-0. So you hit on the money, Adam. It's about this defense, and obviously they've played well against the run besides a couple games, right? Carolina, obviously, you give up over 300 yards. It was on the road, though, and they're going to Lambeau on the road, so there's a legitimate concern. But more than that, this front 7 has been good against the run. Looking at their past games, even on the road, the Jets, the Giants, they've played well. The Vikings slowing down Dalvin Cook. So it's not if they're capable, can they do it on this stage? And this is a huge test. As a Lions fan, you want to see how ready these guys are, right? Is it the year where they're ready to make the playoffs, even with the rookie roster, a majority of a young defense? So that's the big thing is if the Packers establish the run, it's going to make this offense, a limited offense, much more dangerous. And not just that, turnovers. Their defense, their special teams. I don't think their special teams gets talked about enough because Dixon has been on fire. Nixon, has been on fire the last handful of games. You watch him against Miami, he had a big one. The Vikings, he had another big one. I believe he returned one for a touchdown in one of those games. So again, the Packers on all three phases have been clicking, and that's probably the biggest threat to the Lions. But you're right, it's that front seven. What can you do against the run? You got two guys in the backfield, Dylan and Aaron Jones. It's going to be a big test for him. It really is.
All right, well, you look at the last 10 years, okay? The Detroit Lions are 9-10 versus the Green Bay Packers. This has actually been an even series. The last 10 years, the last 19 meetings, from January 5th of 2013 to January 5th of 2023, with one game pending, obviously. 9-10. The Lions are 9-10. They're almost 500 against the Packers, which I find shocking. But then I forget that from 2017 to 2018, there was a stretch where they won 4 consecutive games against the Packers. And then they lost 5 consecutive.
Yeah.
And now they've won 2 consecutive. So the Lions have won the last 2 meetings versus the Green Bay Packers. The end of last season, earlier on this season, both at Ford Field. Their last win in Lambeau, you're going to have to go back a bit. Their last win in Lambeau, 2018, December 30th. And that leads me to what I brought up a little earlier, which was this is a team that is 1-8 on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers has probably played double that in his career. This is a stage the Packers are used to. This is a stage Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, that defense, they are accustomed to it. We talk about a litmus test. We talk about progress this season. I think it's been a good season given the disaster start and the chaotic stretch of games where they were just one of the better teams in football, right? So I'm looking at this now and I'm saying, okay, you're 1-8 all-time on Sunday Night Football. Are you going to be able to go out there and, I don't want to say shock the world, but, I mean, you could rock Green Bay's world. You have full control of their playoff destiny. No matter what happens in the Seattle game, if you go out and win, you ensure that Green Bay, the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers are not in the playoffs, Jeff. I mean, that alone is a lot of added motivation.
Yeah.
But this is the first Sunday Night Football game under Dan Campbell. These are spotlight games. And what do we associate with Jim Caldwell, with even Jim Schwartz, right? We'll go to just the 2000s. 2010s. We'll go to those teams. What do we associate the good Lions teams that we have seen before with? Losing record against winning teams. Typically, you play Sunday Night Football against, Jeff, winning teams. Lions are 1-8 all time. Historically, they lose against winning teams. It's a big matchup.
And this has kind of been the whole narrative of this entire regime is changing that stigma, which we will talk about next segment. I do want to break that down. But so far, they've done a lot of things that we haven't seen in previous regimes, and this is one of them. I mean, I know whether they lose or win isn't going to define the entire regime, but it is a big test. I mean, for a young roster, we know Dan Campbell, how this team was able to respond last week. They played well on the road against the Jets, but this is different. It's not Zach Wilson. This is Aaron Rodgers. It's different, and it's in Lambeau. So big test for him, but this is what you want. I mean, you have a chance to have a winning record and be 9-8 in a season where you were 1-6. Like I'm happy with any result. I mean, as long as they go there and they play their ass off, even if they lose a close one, you're 8-9. I mean, I think everyone can agree that this was a successful season.
But we also have to understand that the Packers have their own flaws. The Packers are 8-8 for a reason.
Right.
They have struggled throughout the season. Now, yes, they're coming off an impressive performance against Minnesota at Lambeau, but again, what do we talk about with this Lions team? Their offense travels. Their offense isn't a one-trick pony. It starts with the offensive line, then it gets to the running backs, and more important than anything, it's the quarterback and his decision-making. And you're not asking him to throw it 40, 50, 60 yards downfield. It's 7, 8, 12, 15, 17, 8 yards at a time. That's it. So this is an offense that I don't think will have an issue in Lambeau. Now, this defense has turned it around the last few weeks. It's a big reason why the Packers have even had success, to be honest with you. But this isn't the Green Bay Packers that maybe we're accustomed to going into a final game of a season, right? And if I recall, the last time you played them in the final game of the year and it mattered was when the division was on the line and you lost that game. But that Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packers team, that is not the team you're playing against. You are playing a shell of that team. You're playing a team that is, I wouldn't say easily rattled, but if you jump ahead early, oh boy, you've got not only a chance, I would give you the advantage.
Yeah.
Because this is a Green Bay Packers team that, for the most part this season, they fold. They fold under pressure. Now, have they won 4 straight? Have they recovered from a 4-8 start? Yes, they have, to their credit. Just like the Lions have to an extent, right? Both teams deserve credit for their recovery. But if you want to talk to me about a more complete team, a team that's been more dialed in, a team that's been more dominant over the last 7, 8, 9 weeks, it's clearly the Lions.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, since week 9, Jeff, the Packers are 5-2 since losing to the Lions 6-2 since winning that game. Fun fact. But we'll take a break. When we get back, we got to talk some Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, and Andrell Anthony decommits. No clarity really on his future, and I don't really want to talk about his future. I want to talk about the season. Was it a failure? And that's what we're going to lead up to Anthony Broom with. Was it really a failure? Are we overreacting just a little bit? No. Are we not appreciating the fact that they did win back-to-back Big Ten championships? And that, yes, your expectation now is they should be a national contender. Are we forgetting that? That's the conversation I want to have coming up in just a bit. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com for more information.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. Do not miss your beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. FullingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com, as always. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, undefeated season leading up to their matchup versus TCU in the college football playoff semifinal. It was a very successful season. Lots of, I would say, good, some bad moments, some struggling moments, but leading up to TCU, they're undefeated, Jeff. Mm-hmm. And they get to that game, and they played their worst game of the season. And unfortunately, it did come in the most important game of the year. And they choked away an opportunity. Not just an opportunity, probably the best opportunity you could have ever asked for leading up to a college football playoff appearance.
Yeah, they did.
They got TCU. I don't want to say the worst of the 4, but if we're honest,
they're the worst of the 4.
They are.
Yeah, it's
and
not.
they beat Michigan, deservingly, rightfully so, and they deserve to be in the college football championship game. Right? No problem. But has this season been a failure? Disappointment? Failure? However you want to define it. But are we really failing to understand that Michigan, under Jim Harbaugh, a team that couldn't win the big games, right? Couldn't beat their rivals, for the last 2 years, have the second best record in college football. Who in the last 2 years, Jeff, 2 Big Ten championships, 2-0 against Ohio State, 1-1 against Michigan State, 2-0 against Penn State, 2-0 against Iowa. They've only lost one Big Ten game, and that was to Michigan State in the last 2 years. So Michigan, to their credit, and we can laugh at them and say this is their history, they always choke these games away. I think that's fair. But it doesn't tell the whole story, because the reality is we've never seen Michigan do this, ever. And now under Harbaugh, they've reached a level where they're on the cusp. And I always use Georgia as my favorite example. Georgia were not the program they are today until they beat Alabama and they won a natty. Until they beat Alabama, they won a college football game. Forget the natty. You are not allowed to enter the conversation. It's not about getting there. It's about winning when you get there. Ohio State gets their street cred because they've already won a college football playoff game. They've won a national championship. They've been there. They've done that. They've won multiple games, right? Michigan's next step, where they can become among, I would say, the elites, and I mean from a success standpoint, not just you and your conference, not just you've gone undefeated. I'm talking you are part of the Georgia-Bama, and it's a select few. It's a handful. It's not like everybody gets to say this. So the fact that we're even having this conversation about Michigan, by the way, is a very good sign. But are we overreacting, Jeff? Failure? Disappointment? Which one is it?
I think failure is a little too much. I know we talked about this a couple weeks ago before the game, and obviously it is a big failure of their goal to get to a national championship, but it doesn't discredit the entire season. They had 4 goals, like they did last year. Beat Michigan State, beat Ohio State, win the Big Ten, and win a college football playoff game. They did 3 out of the 4 this year. They did 2 out of the 4 last year. They lost to Michigan State. Probably should have won that game, but still, Kenneth Walker had a Heisman-esque performance, and they lost. Now, as disappointing as it is, because we did have high expectations, I thought this was more wide open, and I've had this conversation, me and Mike. We had Braylon on the Jeff and Gentry show, and he pretty much guaranteed that they were going to be in the Natty already. I mean, we had that conversation. So it is a failure in that sense. I mean, you got TCU, which, again, out of the 4, probably the team you wanted. I mean, you'd rather have them over Ohio State or Georgia. And still, TCU with the Heisman candidate and Max Duggan, they came to play. So I got to give them credit where it's due. And it doesn't discredit the entire season, but it is disappointing because now you're back-to-back years where you fell short in the college football playoff. And to your point, Jim brought them back to what they were, which is being a powerhouse. But if you beat TCU, that takes your program into another tier, in my opinion. You get to go in the category with everybody else. Although you've beaten Ohio State's at least made a natty, the last decade. So there's kind of the issue with Michigan is what's the next step? The first one should be
winning a college football playoff game.
Absolutely.
Which means you're in the national championship game.
But the next step is figuring out what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. That's probably the next step. And then after that, it's trying to win a college football playoff game. But with the expansion on its way, that's got to hurt their chances. Like right now with a 4-team playoff, you face TCU. Like everything was right in front of them.
I think that's what kills me the most.
Everything was right in front of them.
I think that's what kills me the most is this was the year to do it. If there was ever a year.
Right.
And you guys can give TCU a lot of credit. Say whatever you want. Michigan were the better team. Going into that game, Michigan were the better team.
They played that game 10 times. They probably win 8 or 9 of them.
100%.
I would say that.
But again, it's not important. TCU won. I'm not taking away from them. But you would have to be quite the idiot to sit here and try to convince me that TCU are a better team than Michigan. And sometimes the better teams don't win. That's sports. That's why we watch. That's why you play the games. Having said that, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson recently, LSU, but they're really on and off, but they somehow every 3, 4, 5 years they win a natty. It's the weirdest thing ever, but whatever. Beyond the point, you were so close to taking that next step, and all you had to do was beat TCU. And you folded, and you choked. That was a choke job. Your quarterback didn't turn the ball over all season. Turns it over 3 times that game.
He didn't throw a pick 6 all year,
no.
did he? I don't remember him throwing
Does
one
it
at all.
Twice in a game.
Yeah.
Your coaching staff, I would say brilliant all season. Get cute at the goal line. Leave 14, 21 points on the board. Don't take field goals. Suddenly go against their motto, what they believe in. You guys had a month to prepare for that game, and I think that is what is most frustrating. Again, the season in totality, not a failure. They won the Big Ten. That's what you set out to do before anything. You know why, Jeff? Because if you win your conference, there's a good chance you're in the college football playoff, last I checked, right? Cool. So they go out and do that. They go out and beat their rivals. Success. But the failure, the disappointment comes when you go up against TCU and your second year consecutively in the playoffs and you botch that game. I don't know how you recover from that. I don't. Now, we can talk about Michigan being one of the better teams in the Big Ten next year, likely to be the favorites with Ohio State. That's fine. But when you talk to me about Michigan being one of the best programs in the country, you know, Oklahoma doesn't get to say that. USC right now, as much as I love Lincoln Riley, you don't get to say that. You don't get to be that program until you win on that stage.
Right.
Oklahoma never won a college football playoff game under Lincoln Riley. Mm-hmm. USC didn't even make the college football playoffs this year. They choked their opportunity away against Utah in the championship game, Pac-12.
But they're on their way.
They are on their way, but still, you have to earn it, right?
Right.
Now, is it going to take Lincoln Riley 7 years to get to the college football playoff? Probably not. Probably not. But the point is, you don't get to have that conversation. And I think what hurts me the most, and I'm not even a Michigan guy, but what hurts me the most, and Michigan fans, you tell me if I'm wrong, is that you had an opportunity, in my opinion, to leapfrog Ohio State in the recruiting cycle. Maybe I'm off on this, maybe I'm incorrect. Just my gut feeling. Just my perception of what was going on. You had beaten their asses 2 years in a row. You would have technically made a national championship game. You would have been at the top of the Big Ten world. And the year before USC and UCLA joined the Big Ten, before the expansion, before all of this, you would have won already a college football playoff game. You would have been the favorite going into next season. You would have returned J.J. McCarthy, Donovan Edwards, etc. And you missed that opportunity. Am I off here?
No, you're not. And honestly, it does help in a way that Noah Ruggles missed that field goal. Because imagine if Ohio State made the Natty this year. Even if, regardless of the result, if they're facing TCU or not. Imagine if they win the Natty, but imagine if they just get there. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is the next step for Michigan, and we've talked about this, winning a playoff game. And they had the best opportunity to do that this year before USC, UCLA. They come to the Big Ten. And once USC comes to the Big Ten and you got Lincoln Riley, now things get a little more complicated, right? Winning the Big Ten every single year. So, again, I wouldn't say the season's a failure, but the ending, the result, that fourth goal they had was a failure. And that was just simply beating TCU.
This wasn't last year where when you got there, you were happy to be there. This was the year, given the opponent, given how good Michigan was this year.
Yeah.
They ran the table. Two teams ran the table in all of college football. We forget this. Georgia, Michigan. That's it. Nobody else. Those two teams ran the table. From day one to the championship game in their conference, they ran the tables. This was your year to be a favorite. To be the guys that showed up, took care of business, and went and played likely Georgia at the time in the college football playoff championship game. Mm-hmm. That is the disappointment, because you had it. It was there. It was literally in your hands. And yes, you can tell me 2 Big Ten championships in 2 years. 25-2, I believe, is the record. Or no, 25-3, I apologize. 1 Big Ten loss only in the last 2 years. 2-0 against Ohio State. 1 in Ann Arbor, 1 in Columbus. 100%, and you are correct. But if you want to make that level, if you want to be at that level, if you want to out-recruit, forget out-recruiting. If you want to recruit on the level of an Ohio State, of a now USC upcoming, of Georgia, of Alabama, if you ever want to reach that level, that comes with success. And Michigan, you have one thing a lot of teams would die for, and that's your brand. Michigan's got one of the 3, 4, 5 biggest brands in college football, and I don't think they're anywhere near 5. They're probably closer to 1 and 2. You add real success to that, not just conference success. You add national success to that. I don't know who stops you, because I don't think the Buckeyes have a bigger brand than you. I don't. So you beat their asses for 2 years in a row. You get to a college football playoff championship game. Dare I say you win the Natty? And that all could be relevant this upcoming season. Who knows what's ahead of you? But when we talk about this season, that to me is what was in front of you. And that's what kills me the most. Because yes, you may not think you can out-recruit Ohio State. But boy, the pitch deck you would have. Not only did we get to a national championship game, not only did we potentially win one, not only did we go toe-to-toe with Georgia, we've beaten Ohio State's ass the last 2 years. Quite the pitch to me, if you ask me.
Yeah, and imagine the flip side. For a team like TCU, last team in the Big 12 to play in a national championship game was Texas in 2009. And on top of that, they haven't won a Natty in over 100, or a little under 100 years. So we talk about...
Isn't TCU the first Big 12 school to win a college football playoff game? I'm going to say yes on that one. Oklahoma never did.
So there you go. I mean, again, it's and I think that makes this a little worse. That TCU was, and I said they were happy to be there. Now they were the better team on Saturday, clearly. But that should have never happened. Like, as much as you can say, well, the fourth goal, they failed to achieve the final goal, and that was winning a playoff game, it is a bad look. I mean, back-to-back years, you lose the first playoff game. Last year, you gave them a pass. It was Georgia. They were stacked. This year you get TCU, an opponent you should beat, and they completely melt down.
I think you guys are naive in the chat. I really do. We got Anthony Broom coming up, and I'll ask him. But I think you guys are very naive this morning if you don't think a team that is successful nationally, like Michigan, winning their conference year in, year out now, winning college football playoff games, appearing in the national title game. If you don't think that they could out-recruit an Ohio State with that type of success, I'm not sure what to tell you. Because I do believe they could. Because they have the brand. They have the money. They have the power. All Michigan has always been missing is success. And they've had a glimpse of it the last 2 years. Back-to-back appearances in the college football playoff. Overshadowed last year by Jim Harbaugh potentially going to the Vikings. And then this year, a really bad loss to TCU. If you don't think brands like Texas, Oklahoma, Miami, Michigan, USC, some of the bigger brands in this country can't out-recruit Clemson, Georgia, or Ohio State, if they build their brands up and they have national success, you're crazy. How did Georgia come close to Bama? They started beating them. They started getting to the playoff. They started winning playoff games. They won a Natty last year. Now they're one of the two best teams recruiting every single year. Kirby Smart's built a legitimate powerhouse. And Michigan can't be that until they have national success. That's just the reality. Let's take a break. When we get back, Anthony Broom joins us. I want to have this conversation with him. Failure, disappointment, we'll see. I say missed opportunity. And to those of you that think Michigan can't recruit with or out-recruit Ohio State, I think you're mistaken. I do. Could be wrong. Anthony will tell me if I'm right or wrong coming up in just a bit. But before we go, I got to tell you where I'll be getting my haircut today, and that's at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they take care of me, as always. So what are you waiting for? Get to a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Matrix Home Solutions is your go-to for any home project. They are the basement remodeling experts. They also specialize in bathrooms and kitchens. An A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. There's no better option than Matrix Home Solutions. Call 888-594-8844 or visit them at matrixhomesolutions.com. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com. Fish, I gotta give you a compliment this morning. Thank you for not playing that stupid fucking Christmas music.
Oh, well, thanks for bringing it up again.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Fish, don't do it. Fish.
Did they take it off?
Fish, yes, they did. Don't do it.
You better not have taken it off.
Fish.
Well, I can't
Fish,
find
I'm not
it
joking
now.
Fish, I'm not joking. Don't do
Where
it.
they put it at?
Fish, I'm not joking.
I can't
Don't
find
fucking
it
do
now.
it. Mute your
If I
mic.
find it, I'm playing
Mute
it.
your
You brought
mic.
it up.
Mute your mic.
You know what? You just don't
be
bring
a
stuff up.
fuckface.
Don't bring stuff up if you don't want it up. But I can't find it now. They must have taken it off. There's so many things on this. Like, how many slides do we need? We need 3 of them. We need Morning Woodward Show,
Fish,
Big D Energy,
Fish,
Heavyweights,
listen to me,
and
listen to
Ermanni
me.
Night with Maz.
Listen
That's
to me,
it.
Listen to me.
Simple as.
Listen to me carefully. Look
You
at me.
need
Look at me,
55
Fish.
sheets. Yes,
Look at
sir.
me.
Yeah, I'm
Look
looking
at
at you. I'm staring at you right now.
Look at me. You're a cunt. Shut up. Moving on. Anthony Broom joins us this morning. Anthony, good morning, buddy. How you doing, man? Oh, shit. He's not on? Rip. Oh, that's a great call. Thanks, boys. All good. All good. We'll wait for Anthony. I'll shoot him a text. While we wait, Fish, go fuck yourself, by the way.
Fish, what Christmas music do you have on deck?
Well, I think Adham put a hitman on me. I think they took him off. I can't find any of the Christmas stuff.
Maybe they did that intentionally.
Yeah, I think they did it intentionally.
Yeah.
They took it off. There's too many slides to go through, which is not a bad thing, but I can't find it. It's not in here anywhere.
It's okay, buddy. You'll be all right.
Yeah, we took it out for a reason, Fish.
Well, I didn't know people were going to take it out.
Because
It didn't
it's
get
not
copyrighted.
Christmas anymore. It's not Christmas anymore. That's why.
It was like a few days ago.
Not a few days ago.
12 days ago. Today's the 12th day.
All right, that's not a
12th
few.
day.
12 is not a few.
It's almost 2 weeks, Fish.
Well, yeah, but
All right. Do you still have your Christmas tree up in your house?
I do not.
All right, so it's
Took
not
it down.
Christmas anymore.
Well, just because they have your Christmas tree up doesn't mean it's still Christmas time.
Can't do this.
Where they put it?
I can't do this. I can't do this anymore.
Fish, you're a gem.
A what?
He's a gem. He's special.
He's a
You
gem?
know what a gem is? Oh my goodness.
Fish, I don't know what to do with him. I don't know what to do with him, Fish.
And we do need to start that segment every Wednesday or whatever. We'll spit facts at Adam and see what he knows. We got to come up with some good stuff that he doesn't
You
know.
can give me 3 right now. Go for it.
I don't know what
On the
to-
spot. I'm putting you on the
What
spot.
am I
Go
supposed
for it. Anything
well,
you want.
What do you want? You want geography? You
Anything. Yep, anything. Doesn't matter.
Want, I don't know. Name me 3 places in Michigan.
What the hell does that
What?
mean?
Well, I don't know. I'm just testing him. He doesn't know anything. I don't know where to
What the
start.
hell does that mean?
I don't know where to start.
Clearly. What the hell does that mean?
Do you know 3 places in
He
Michigan?
says you're an idiot. You don't know 3 places in Michigan.
Well,
That's what he's
I
saying.
can name 3 that are literally right in front of me.
Well, he doesn't know Belle Isle. He didn't know what Belle Isle was or Eastern Market. Go back to the show in like July and August when we tested you. You didn't know where Belle Isle was. You said Belle who?
Define place, because all of these stores around us are places, right? Technically.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I said cities.
You didn't say cities, you fuck.
Well, okay. When people say name me 3 places, people mean cities.
We'll be more
We gotta
specific,
test your
you
English
jackass.
now. See, Jeff knows.
No,
we
he
gotta
doesn't.
give you
No,
English
he was just
lessons.
as confused, you fuckhead.
Damn, dude.
God.
You woke up with the heat for Fish today.
He
Do you
always
blame me?
does.
Look at
He
it.
always does.
Look at this. This is what we work with. Look at this. Take a good look. That's what we work with. Jesus Christ.
I mean, they got the president one. Ooh, this is not
Fish,
what I thought it
don't-
was.
Don't do that. Turn it off. Don't play music right now. We're not doing that. All right, mute your mic, and let's move on. Okay?
Okay,
Fair?
sure.
Good. Shut the hell up.
Okay.
Hey Jeff. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Broom's having some technical issues on his end, so we're gonna have to we're going to have to sweep him aside for now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the turnarounds two teams have had that have led to this playoff implication matchup, and that is the Packers and the Lions. Since the Packers' Week 9 loss to Detroit, the Lions are 6-2. The Packers are 5-2, Jeff. Who's been more impressive during that stretch, and who do you have more confidence in, and who do you trust more going into Week 18?
Oof. Well, the turnaround, I'll just start with this. Detroit's turnaround to me is more impressive, given that not only did they have a worse record, but they did it with young players, mostly rookies. So Green Bay was going through a period where they had an underperforming defense. They had a ton of talent. They just weren't performing up to their standards. And they had no run game, or they weren't committing to running the ball. And no receiver emerged yet. Like, they had Romeo Doubs early in the year. He gets hurt. He's on my fantasy team. And then here comes Christian Watson. The rookie was dropping all these balls early in the season, and now he's Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, especially his favorite deep threat. So both of these teams have had impressive turnarounds, but I got to say the more impressive one is no question the Detroit Lions. With what they're working with, I never questioned the talent the Packers had defensively. They couldn't put it together. You still had Aaron Rodgers. You still had Matt LaFleur, who's won 13 games in back-to-back seasons. Say what you want about them, but still winning games. They still have talent. They still have a good run game. They have a good offensive line, an above-average offensive line. The Lions were, early in the season, I mean, you lost Tracy Walker. You had guys like Bugs, Kamitsky still playing significant snaps for you, guys that were released for their former teams. 3 rookies, like I said, on your defensive line. James Houston just emerged, 6 games ago. You're working with a limited secondary. There's so much more the Lions have done that's been more impressive to me. But the Packers, I got to give them credit because they could have easily, and I've seen this float around too when they were 4-8. Should you play Jordan Love? Should you get him more reps? It was the most idiotic thing in the world. I mean, the Packers, they did the right thing by allowing Aaron Rodgers to play out the season, and now they have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So, although the Packers, you could say they have the better route because they're going to make the playoffs probably either way unless they lose to the Lions have had the more impressive turnaround because not only have they been one of the more hottest teams in football, their dominant wins are more impressive to me than the Packers.
And I think that's the biggest
thing. What
they
did to the Vikings, the Jags,
the
Bears just recently, there's a lot more. Their ceiling, when they're clicking on all cylinders, it's much more dangerous to me than the Packers.
That is... So here's the one problem. All right, you tell me what you think of this. What is the strength of the Detroit Lions? Which unit?
The unit? Mm-hmm. Like offense, it'd be offense.
Yep.
I didn't know if you meant specifically because it'd probably be that offensive line. But
you got it. No, the offense as a whole.
Yes, okay. The offense as a whole.
What is the Green Bay Packers? I mean, you know the answer.
Well, they're honestly,
it's going to be the defense.
I would say their secondary probably, or their pass rush.
But their defense overall.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with the Lions are walking into Lambeau with a very good offense, and the Packers are walking in with a very good defense. And that, to me, is the battle. Do I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out and throw for 325, 350 yards? No, I don't. Do I think the Packers will have their way with this Lions defense? That's a concern, given I saw them do it at Ford Field. But, again, if you can stop the run, I think it sets up so much for your defense, especially with players like Aidan, Hutchinson, James Houston, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But that Packers defense, you do have Jair Alexander. You do have safeties like Darnell Savage. You do have linebackers. Your front seven for Green Bay, it is very, very good. Their secondary, exceptional, yes, but this is a team that had Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson really scratching their heads last Sunday. And that, to me, is the matchup, Jeff. Can the Lions offense go toe-to-toe with the Packers defense? And, my answer is very simple. Yes, I do. If I were to trust one more over the other, I think I would trust the Lions offense more. I want to know what you think of that. But to me, Ben Johnson, a top 5 offense, top 5 scoring offense, one of the more accurate, consistent offenses in the NFL, especially in short intermediate routes, play action sets. They're going to want to set up the run. Jamal Williams is going to get his 12, 15, 17 carries. DeAndre Swift, hopefully last week was really a sign of him getting more touches. That'll be important. I think this game comes down to the backfield. Which backfield gives the opposing team more problems, right? Because I'm not worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm not worried about getting these tight ends involved. I'm not too worried about Chark or Reynolds. I'm not worried about even J-Mo if they're trying to get him more involved, Jeff. To me, can you limit A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones out of the backfield?
Mm-hmm.
If you say yes to that, Green Bay will struggle. And the flip side, if you take away the run from Detroit, if you bottle up Jamal, if you keep him to 2 yards an attempt, if you stop DeAndre Swift from getting going out of the backfield, stopping the screens, stopping him on the ground, well, you make this offense one-dimensional, and that is also a concern. Now, I think the Lions are more capable than the Packers are, but we know how they like to play. The Lions like to play from ahead, and you've seen it this year. The last 2 weeks are a perfect example, Jeff. The Lions get ahead early against the Chicago Bears, what happens? Steamroll them.
Yep.
Lions get ahead of the Bears, what happens, Jeff? Steamroll them. Against the Vikings, roll them. Fall behind against Carolina? Not the game they want to be playing. So that's going to be a big part of it.
Mm-hmm. No, also, because people forget, too, this defense is, especially this offense traveling on the road, even at Ford Field, Jared Goff threw an interception. I believe it was Jair Alexander who caught that. So this secondary does have some cause for concern, for me at least. They still have guys. Savage returned a pick by Kirk Cousins to the house. He's a really good safety. They have Jair, who's playing some of his best football really all season. And on top of that, they still have a good defensive line. Kenny Clark, they have the two rookies they drafted, Quay Walker, who's had a pretty good rookie year. So, again, defense is probably the biggest concern for me because you're going on the road. And we know this offense, as impressive as they've been the hottest at Ford Field, right? Even going to the Jets or going to the New York Giants, yes, they did enough to win, right? The Giants, I mean, they scored 30 in that game, so the offense played well. And the Jets, they found a way to win. This might be a game like that, where it may not be pretty, but the Lions have to find a way to win. They got to execute late in the game.
You're referring to the Bears game.
What do you mean?
Bears scored 30 points, not the Giants.
No, I said the Lions scored 30 points against the Giants.
I apologize.
No, you're good. Because, again, on the road, they say this offense is going to take a hit. Well, he scored 30 against the Giants, but it is the Giants.
They did score against the Panthers, even though it was a little too late.
Right.
That is a concern.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's more so on this defense. Because if they can get some stops and not allow Aaron Rodgers to be comfortable at home, that I do think the Lions have a chance
I think
here.
if you play a one-possession game, I think you have a chance. And I'm not saying that because it's only a one-possession game. I'm saying that because if you can get ahead, if you can keep it close, you can commit to the run, you can stick to it, you don't have to go away from your game plan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more confident in that than I would be, let's say, the Packers going up 10-0 early in the game, or the Packers leading 17-7 at halftime. That is the problem here. Can the offense travel? I think it can. If I were to trust an offense more going into Lambeau, I would trust the Lions offense, and I think it travels better, but the backfield is going to be everything. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams, DeAndre Swift. Which backfield is going to have more success?
Yeah.
We'll take a break. When we get back, top of the hour coming up, we'll continue the conversation about the Lions. Dose of Dion coming up at 9:15. We'll get to Dion later on. Get his thoughts on the matchup. Get his thoughts on the Lions' season recovery. That's what we'll get into next. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, guys, Cintron, and I'm drinking one right now to get me up in the morning. It's the official energy drink of the Red Wings. I promise you they were not drinking Cintron last night after that result. I can promise you that. Cintron has combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. You can try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron.
We here at Woodward Sports would like to thank everybody who helped us stuff our studio. The third annual Stuff a Studio was a major success thanks in part to our partners at Guardian Alarm and Myers Stores for making it all possible. And of course, we couldn't do it without our community leaders and viewers like you. Thank you for dropping off toys to our studio that were taken to the Mott Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor so every sick child could have a happy holiday.
We are incredibly grateful for Woodward Sports, Guardian Alarm, and Meyer for making the holidays so special for our patients and families.
So what we do is try to bring some normalcy to their lives at this time. This is a labor of love. It brings so much joy, and not just for the families and for the children, but for our staff.
Thank you.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play. Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Market, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Jeff Iafrate here. Let me tell you about our friends at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
All right. We're back. Top of the hour, woodwardsports.com. Morning Woodward Show. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate. Whew, it's the Monroe Street Minute. Make sure you go downtown. Don't miss out on the opportunity. Putt-putt, indoor arcades, food trucks, drinks, you name it, they've got it. Don't miss out. Don't be a loser like Fish and not go down there. Don't do it to yourself, please. Fish,
I'd love to go down there.
I would never take you.
Oh,
You can go
that's
by
nice of
yourself.
Hey, we'll probably do it next week. I got 10 questions to prove you're not stupid. You're probably gonna get them all wrong. We'll do that next week, unless you want it now.
We can do 5. All right.
You wanna?
We'll do it next Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Fair?
Sounds good.
And if you don't come prepared, I'm gonna stuff your head in the toilet. All right?
All right. I don't want that.
All right, then come prepared.
I will.
We are back here on the
Hey, I didn't
Morning
play the
Woodward
Christmas
Show.
song. I did find it, by the way. I didn't play it, so you're welcome.
Yeah, don't play it. Don't play it. I'll kill you.
Play it, Fish.
All right. Aidan Hutchinson on Good Morning Football this morning gave his comments on what it would mean to potentially win Defensive Rookie of the Year. And he said, I think it would mean a lot. A lot went into this rookie year. I'm doing it all. I'm doing it all around the board. I'm happy with how I'm playing right now. My question to all of you, is Aidan Hutchinson the Defensive Rookie of the Year? Gentry, if you don't mind, woodwardsports.com. Let's go to the poll. Let's throw it up. Is Aidan Hutchinson the Defensive Rookie of the Year as of today? Over Sauce Gardner. Now, the argument for Sauce Gardner for probably the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks has been team success, of course, yes, but individual success. He is playing like a top 3, top 5 corner in the NFL right now. I think that is the clear obvious thing. He has the highest graded defensive rating for any corner in the NFL. He has the highest pass cover rating among all corners in the NFL. He's the only cornerback with a 90 rating or higher according to PFF. So Sauce Gardner has been that guy all season long. Having said that, Aidan Hutchinson has not only been that guy for his team, but statistically he is really putting it on Sauce Gardner. And I know it's beyond the stats. I know it's about your importance not only to the team, but your impact that you have. Yeah. We saw it against the Lions when they played the Jets. The Lions avoided him the entire game.
That says something.
Right?
Yeah.
So I still have a problem, and not really a problem. I have a tough time because obviously I picked Aidan Hutchinson to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but that's irrelevant to this conversation. What's relevant is I still think Sauce Gardner, for the most part, nationally, is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. The only way I see Aidan Hutchinson catching up to him is if he goes out against Green Bay and he puts on a clinic. 2.5 sacks, forced fumble recovery, and maybe that's fair or not fair to Aidan. I don't know. It's what I think. And I want to know what you guys think. Is he the Defensive Rookie of the Year? 80% of you say yes.
Well, I mean...
And I expect that. I mean, most of you are Lions fans that are watching the show right now, but let's be real here. Aidan Hutchinson is the 45th rated, and again, you can take PFF rankings with a pinch of salt. I don't care. I like to use them for context. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It doesn't mean it's the only thing, but I think it offers context. Aidan Hutchinson is the 45th rated edge rusher this year. James Houston is 6th at the moment in terms of pass rushing. Think about that. Now, Aidan Hutchinson is one of the better run defenders. He's been excellent all season. He's been consistent for the Lions really after his slow start to the year. So I think Aidan's a deserving 2 right now. But how you convince me how, unless you don't believe so. You guys convince me how I give him the vote fairly over a guy who teams are avoiding on a consistent basis on Sundays.
So there's two things, and this is why it's a tough conversation to have, because Aidan, I think, has done enough. You look at previous defensive ends that have won Defensive Rookie of the Year, he checks a lot of those boxes, and on top of that, he has 3 interceptions. So I think that just kind of sprinkles it on top. But for Sauce, what he's doing as a rookie corner, we have never seen. 20 pass deflections. I mean, are you joking? 20 pass deflections. He's first in the NFL. He has 2 interceptions, which he'd probably have more. But again, when you're that good, teams don't throw at you. So it says a lot about Sauce and how he's handled this entire rookie year. I've been really impressed with both rookies. I think both teams are happy with what they've got. The Lions have a cornerstone defensive end who's going to be good for a long time. And the Jets got a number 1 corner who's going to be good for a long time. So it's not about who's better. It's really, for me, it's about consistency. And I think we can all agree that if we're looking at consistency, it's been Sauce all year. But Aidan, as of late, he's played well in some of these games. But also early on in the season, there was games where he just kind of disappeared. And again, that's part of being a rookie. I mean, you're figuring it out. And he didn't have the help he has in the defensive line now with the emergence of James Houston. Pascal's playing better. So I'm willing to give Aidan slack. But if we're looking at Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm not willing to accept the argument. And I know people say this, and it's funny. I mean, it's hilarious. But if you say, well, Jeff, how can Sauce win Defensive Rookie of the Year when Aidan has more interceptions than him? And I'm like, well, no, because
then Tariq Woolen should win Rookie of the Year.
Because that's not how that works. Because if you're Sauce, no one's throwing at you. Like, it's Aidan.
If you're Sauce, people are throwing at you. He's been targeted 69 times this year. He's only allowed 30 receptions.
Jesus.
43% of the time you throw his way, you're completing it.
Yeah,
Think about that. In an NFL where the standard is completing 62 to 64% of your passes, you throw his way, you're completing 43% of the time. Think about that. Has he allowed a touchdown this year? Oh, wait. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. What do you know?
Like, that's it. Again, it doesn't. Again, because if you choose Sauce, you automatically get an Aidan. You're hating. It's not hating, but I've watched Sauce.
Statistically has earned the right to be in the conversation and get a lot of votes.
No question.
And it's tough for me not to vote for him because I think he's been excellent. But again, if I was an NBA voter last year, I would have obviously voted for Cade. It was the obvious pick. This year, in the NFL, it's a bit difficult.
And what did they hold Cade to? The first 15 games and how he started slow. And so those things matter. I mean, they do. As much as I and again, Aidan to have 3 interceptions as a rookie defensive end is ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy. His athleticism, I think that was the most slept-on thing coming out of the draft. But I got to give the slight edge to Sauce still.
Well,
I don't think he's done anything to
as
lose
of today.
it.
You know what the odds are? If you guys don't believe me and think I'm being mean to Aidan, here's what Vegas thinks of the award. If you want to bet on Aidan Hutchinson to win today, you can buy him at plus 800.
Oh, wow.
You know what Sauce Gardner's at?
Minus 100, minus 200?
Very close. Very close. Well done, Jeff. Minus 1,200.
So it's his.
You have to bet $1,200 on Sauce Gardner to win $100.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He is the overwhelming favorite to win the award.
And I'm going to bring up the obvious, and this is, I don't think this is like the biggest reason, but it is a reason.
It's not because of the market.
He plays in New York.
I don't think it's because of the market.
I think so. A part of it. Detroit,
Kayvon
New
Thibodeau
York
would be higher on the list.
But I'm talking, if Kayvon put together a pretty good season, I do think he would because of New York. But he didn't. I mean, his season, James Houston and
He's had
Aidan
an
both have more
inconsistent
sacks.
season. That is fair, but I'm sorry. Aidan Hutchinson has been excellent. And if you would have asked me, would you redraft? Would you do it any other way?
Mm-hmm.
No. Aidan Hutchinson's my pick. I'm so happy with him. He resembles everything that the Lions are, what they can be, what you want in a defensive leader, which I think he will be for this team in the future.
Yep.
Now, if you were to do a redraft, the Jaguars probably take Aidan, and then the Lions probably take Sauce, if knowing what you know now, to be honest with you. But I'm so happy with Aidan Hutchinson. He's been phenomenal. I think deservingly he should be probably second in the voting. Nothing lower than that. I find it difficult to give him the award, even though I want to so badly. Because Sauce Gardner has just been the second or third best corner in all of football this year. And to be honest, I'm even discrediting him because he's been the best corner in football all year.
This comment, and Chuck did a great job. He sums it up great. I think in a normal year, Hutch wins it. And I would agree. But Sauce, he says at the end, Sauce is just incredible. And I think that's the case. It doesn't discount Aidan's season.
If you remove Sauce Gardner from the picture, Aidan Hutchinson is a landslide favorite to win this award. It's not even close. Nobody matches him. But I'm sorry. Sauce Gardner right now is a top 2 corner in the NFL. Is Aidan Hutchinson a top 10 pass rusher? No, he's not. Is he top 15? No, he's not. Is he top 20? Honestly, probably not.
And Sauce is playing the hardest position, arguably besides quarterback. I mean, come on. Especially hardest position for guys to come out and immediately be dominant.
Degree of difficulty to me doesn't matter for the award, but I get what you're saying.
But that's just another, come on.
Hey, guys, look at me. I'm literally out here on my own.
Yeah, one of the best corners in football. As a rookie.
But it's okay. We should give Jeff Okudah 5 years to prove that I'm a mean guy and that I was wrong. Yeah. And he needs 5 years to be he's going to prove to you why he was the number 3 overall pick. You're a bum. Fucking bitch. Unreal. Unreal.
Love it.
Everybody can have an opinion. Everybody can say something not nice, except when it's not you. See, if it's you, it's wrong. But if I do it,
you're wrong.
You know what? I get it. Moving on. When we get back, DoseOfDion will be joining us. I can't wait to talk to him.
Dion.
It's been a minute. Dion's the man. We'll talk to Dose, get his thoughts on Aidan Hutchinson, get his thoughts on the upcoming game at Lambeau Field, what it's meant really that the Lions have turned the season around. I still have trouble even believing it. All that and more coming up in just a bit. But before we go, Jeff, do your damn job. Tell everybody about Guardian Alarm.
Well, it's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. Call them anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as you need. They also have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800 Stay out,
everybody.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
All right, we're going to talk about fat people and their life-changing decisions. Well, Ryan Ermanni was one of them, and I'm so happy for him.
Wow.
Down over 20 pounds since he made the decision to reach out to Dr. Jason and the team over at Custom Health Centers. I mean, look at the guy. He's covering a third of the entire TV wall.
Yeah,
Think about this, guys. Huge. Having said that, he's actually really lost a lot of weight. I'm so happy for him. They have him on a great diet. They have him in the gym now.
Yep.
He has a routine exercise that is comfortable for him. They haven't pressured him in any way. I'm really happy for Ryan. So if you guys are looking to get your 2023 year started the correct way and really get yourselves into shape, Dr. Jason and his team have the right plan for you. Give them a call, 844-789-8446. Tell them Adam sent you, and tell them Adam said, I'm fat. I need help. Fair? Good. Let's get the show started. We are back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com as always. We are joined by a very, very, very special person. Love this guy. DoseOfDion, for that matter. Dion, good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, man. How you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning.
What is there, a power outage at your house? What's going on here?
Look. See, I try to make it look cool back here. That's what's happening. All right? I dimmed the lights. I got the flashing lights.
It's the layer. It's the layer. That's what it is.
Like you're shooting a porno promo.
It's supposed to look good, man. But I found out it looks better when the lights are off. So it's,
I agree with that. I'm good, man. I'm good. Jeff's always good. Dion, we just came off talking about Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner. I want your thoughts on this. Who's the Rookie of the Year front runner? To me, it's Sauce still. I have a tough time saying, oh, yeah, a guy who's played at a top 2 level at his position all year isn't the Rookie of the Year. Hutchinson has deserved the talk. I think he's been excellent all year. He's been as advertised. I don't think anybody's disappointed in Hutch. But where are you with the Defensive Rookie of the Year race? Are you on our side where it's obviously Sauce, even though you really want it for Hutch, or do you really think Hutch deserves to be in that conversation ahead of Sauce Gardner?
Yeah, no, I think you guys were hitting it pretty well there. And I hated to do it because the first time I dug into it, I was like, it's definitely Hutch. And then I looked at it, oh, okay, maybe it's not. But I really wanted to be Hutch. My biggest thing, though, that I would say, and it's still probably going to be Sauce, I mean, just from the whole look at it, right, when you're talking about a guy like Hutchinson, the first thing that you're going to look at because of his position is going to be the numbers of sacks. And when you see it being 7.5, the 3 interceptions, that's super impressive. But like you said, you know what Sauce is as a top corner. What doesn't really get it, it's not going to get a ton of attention for a guy like Hutch, is the impact that he's had on our run defense. Like, that was one of the things I was most excited to get him for. But even with that, the numbers, it's just not enough, I feel like, unless he ended up with like well into double-digit sacks, which he probably won't at this point, to overtake Sauce. However, quick little point here, I think maybe the big thing is that also situation they're put in. Now, cornerbacks, we know it's very important what you're around. And I'm sure he's really impacted that. However, we do also know the Jets have maybe the best run defense in football, one of the best ability to get pressure in football without blitzing. They don't blitz at all, and they get top 10 pressure. So supporting cast is super important. And we know for Hutchinson, he was coming into a defense that, supporting cast-wise, our secondary was arguably the worst in the league for about halfway through the season. So I think that impacts it, especially when we're talking about pressures and things of that nature. But no, I think I hate to say it, but it feels like it's kind of has to be Sauce. However, like you said, Hutch has been everything I've wanted him to be, and I'm excited that we made that pick still.
Yeah, you would make that pick every single time. I'm with you, Dion. I want to ask you about Jeff Okudah, because to start the season, he played really well, and then he struggled a little bit. I know he's coming off an Achilles injury, and I've always said I think he's in a tough position, because you're coming off an Achilles injury. Now he's about to play his first full season, and you're the number 1 corner on, like you said, a bad secondary. So it's a tough task for him. But the last 2 weeks, I mean, being benched for Mike Hughes, I know he was sick a couple weeks ago, but your thoughts on just the situation with Jeff Okudah? I mean, and he's getting paid $10 million next year.
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's kind of weird for me, because for Jeff Okudah, like, I wasn't ever against the idea of, hey, Mike Hughes getting some of his snaps, because that's not when Mike Hughes got kicked outside. I think it was against New England was the first time we saw it. I was like, hey, this guy can play on the outside, and obviously he did that with Kansas City, so I don't have an issue with it. It is weird with Jeff, because you're kind of weird on, like, where are we at with Jeff right now? Like, when we always discuss it, I always look at it and say, from what I've seen this year, am I saying I'm confident he's a number 1 next year? No. Like, I don't think you've seen that where you can be like, man, hey, that's our 1 next year, we're good to go. I think you have to almost address it saying we still have to find that guy. But you can have hope that maybe he turns into that, but I don't think you've seen that yet this season. However, the pass rush, again, it's another big part of it, and I think we're seeing now recently what that started to mean, and I think it's going to start to come around by the time we get in next year. We're just kind of banking on that based on the run defense and pass rush improving as one, but to me, that's just kind of how I've seen Jeff. Like, I mean, I think arguably Jerry Jacobs, if you take last year what he did versus what Jeff's done this year, Jerry was probably better, I would say. So It's tough, but I think there's still optimism there, because he does have all the skills. And to your point, it's the first time playing, and he's way above what he played as a rookie.
Yep.
Fair enough. I'll tell you what, Dion, the start they had to the season was not only disappointing. I remember actually you were on, I want to say after New England or Dallas, I believe. And it was dark, man. It was a show, it was an interview, it was a conversation where it's like, yeah, this is not what we all expected. Like, this was supposed to be a 7, 8, 9-win team. Win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. Some inconsistencies, but not a 1-6 team with that offense. And, Dion, then they turned it around. And they've won 7 of the last 9 games. And they are 7-2 down the stretch. And they've earned themselves a final, quote, play-in game, depending on what happens with Seattle, of course. But they've given themselves an opportunity. And I think that alone has made this season a success. And I can't believe I'm saying that, given 8-9 weeks ago, Dion, we were talking about if Dan Campbell was even the right guy for this team.
As soon as I came in here, I was like, man, I think the last time I was here, we were talking about what does Dan Campbell need to do? He needs to win. And now it's just, it does. To your hit at best, man, it almost feels kind of like unreal. I'm like, man, I just think about, like, dude, we're 7-2, and what is happening? Especially when you consider all the stuff that really happened as soon as the thing flipped. Like, we got a little healthier in the back end, which I still think helped a ton. But to think about, you traded away Hutchinson at that time, the Aubrey Pleasant firing, like, it seemed like it was all going downhill. So it's crazy to see what they've done to be at the position they're at now. It's unbelievable. It really is. And my biggest thing is probably some of these teams that we're supposed to beat, like if you're this caliber of team, we're not just beating right now. Like we're smacking those teams. You know, that's Chicago. Like I thought we dominated the Giants. Like, we've had a few of those games. And in the past, like, you don't really see that. You're like, oh, hey, beat the teams you're supposed to beat. We're not just beating these teams, though. We're blowing them out. And it's way different than I've ever seen, honestly.
So, Dion, I want to ask you, too. This weekend, obviously, big news for the Detroit Lions. You're playing in prime time, Sunday Night Football against the Packers. And it's funny because it all comes full circle. I think the streak got started off by beating the Packers, ugly game at Ford Field, and now look at where we are now. You have a chance to make the playoffs. You face the Packers again. Both these teams are very different than they were at that game, at that point in the season. But I want your confidence level, your nervousness. Where are you at right now for the Detroit Lions? Because I think Dan Campbell said it best, right? It's a good stage for these young players. Regardless of what happens, I think we can call this season a successful season, considering where they're at right now. They have a chance to be 8-9 or 9-8. But where are you at right now against the Packers? What's your confidence level? What's your or concern level? Either one.
This is one of those games, man, and I don't know if it's just because it's prime time, but I'm so darn confident. Like, just looking at how we match up, I feel like we match up so well with this team. I mean, most people believe it's going to be Green Bay that's going to win this. I feel like this is part 2 to me. This feels like part 2. Like, last year was kind of part 1, kind of dug ourselves out of that hole. And this feels part 2. Like, I understand the Vikings won the division, but the Packers are the king of the North. That's what they have been. So to have an opportunity, whether or not we get in, you know, whatever happens there with Seattle, you have that opportunity to knock that team out. Everybody's going to be watching because it feels like that flex was for Green Bay. Like, hey, everybody gets to see this team that's winning now. They're getting in. But then to be able to go in their house where we've been pretty terrible like the last 30 years or whatever, to go to their house and take them down. And I think a big reason for that for me is I've loved the way that this staff has played this team. Like, the last 3 times we've played them, because if you've only played them 3 times, 2-1 in those games. And I've loved the game plan we've had defensively. I feel like we've gotten Aaron Rodgers a little off it even last year. And then offensively, I just know we can attack this team. I mean, history's always been, hey, you run on the Packers, you got a shot. And it's just, the belief is there, especially after last week, that we're going to carry into this week. I'm 10 out of 10, man. I really believe this is going to be a win.
Let's go.
I have no worries. Like, hey, I'm all in. This is going to be a win.
Dion, I'll tell you what. They've earned that confidence. The way they've played the last 9 weeks has been nothing short of incredible. I haven't seen quite a turnaround like this in my lifetime. But this is where maybe it's too much optimism. Maybe it's caught up in the moment. I want to know what you think of this. I have no doubts, regardless of what happens in the game on Sunday, I have no doubts that with 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a third-round pick, and then the rest of the draft, of course, that Brad Holmes is famous for, along with the $30 million roughly, depending on what they do in free agency, this is a team that should compete for the North. I want your thoughts on this. I think they not only can compete for it, given the uncertainty with Minnesota, the up and down seasons they have had under Kirk Cousins, some years it's really good, some years it's bad, but who knows? Kevin O'Connell, I really think the world of him, but you know, who knows if they're going to be a team consistently winning 11, 12 games in the next few years. I think they not only can compete, Dion, I think they can win that division next year. Your thoughts?
See, people are going to think I'm crazy. Y'all got me on here early talking crazy, but I believe it. I don't think
it's crazy, man. I don't think it's crazy.
See, well, you're saying it's like tame to what I'm about to tell you, because I'm with you on that. I feel like we're in the same spot the LA Rams were the first year when McVay arrived. After the first year, they went 10-7. And what did they do the next year, right? They start going out and picking up a couple of those short-term deals. And that's kind of what they did from there on. They got a couple big-time playmakers, and the rest was kind of, normal for them. Maybe you get a big-time trade if someone's available with the 2 first-round picks. What I love about our situation, you hit it, we have the most, I think, consistency. You know your coach, you know your quarterback, you know your pass rushers, you know your tackles, you know everything's going to be intact next season. Your quarterback, you know what that's going to look like. For the rest of the North teams, I'm not completely sure. I think next year you're looking at a team that they still have some holes, but if you get like a vet corner, like a dog vet corner this offseason, that kind of thing, I'm looking at it saying that's kind of where this approach starts to go. And I'm thinking, why can't we win the whole thing? Like, that's my next mindset, because if I don't get in this year and I beat Green Bay, but then I'm looking at it saying, well, hold up, if Seattle would have, just lost their game, we're in the playoffs. I'm looking at this year saying, who knows what could happen? That's my mindset next year. We go win the whole thing. And
I think even if you lose, Dion, I think even if they lose this game, I still have supreme confidence. If you don't mind, Dion, I want to take a break. Do you mind sticking around?
Let's do it, man.
My man. When we get back, I want to continue the offseason talk, because you mentioned a veteran corner. So I want to talk about the needs and what you think the Lions should do. We'll do that in just a minute, but before we do, we got to take a break. Jeff, our good friends over at Big Boy, please.
Well, wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You can try the classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo, but they got breakfast as well. The stuffed potato pancakes are back. They have the Lumberjack Santa Fe Garden, the Blockbuster. You can stop by your local Big Boy today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
And we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, joined by Dose of Dion, of course. Dion, continuing the conversation, you mentioned a veteran corner. So I want to talk about free agency before we get to the draft. I'll let Jeff handle that. Free agency, my mindset was always a veteran corner and a veteran linebacker. Now, I don't know what you think of Alex Anzalone, but I don't think that's a long-term fit. Whether you think they should draft a linebacker in the first round or second round, or they should go out in free agency, I want to know your thoughts on free agency. Given they only have a certain amount of money, they're probably going to want to re-sign DJ Chark. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure if he's open to another one-year deal, but your thoughts on the free agency period, their key targets they have to go for.
Right. Yeah, no, that's my key targets is cornerback. Like, I've been kind of on that, but like, especially if it's going to be, because I'm starting to struggle with, I think the Lions are going to go first round corner. They could, but if they don't, my thing is go get that veteran cornerback. And I'm not looking for, here's my question. When is the last time this team has had that vet cornerback? That's not just a vet in terms of, hey, they're here and they're old. No, they're here, but they're maybe our best cornerback on the team. And maybe they're not here long term. Maybe it's the 1 year deal. But when's the last time we've had that guy, right? And the first guy that comes to mind, I know he's not a free agent now, but he could definitely be a free agent after the season with Hezal, is Stephon Gilmore. A guy like that, if that's there on the market, that's the guy I'm going after, right? It's probably going to be pretty expensive for 1 to 2 years, maybe a throw a void year on it, whatever. But if you get that, when's the last time this room has had that? Like, our D-line has the vet this year on Brockers. He's kind of pushing his way out. So if the Lions want to go forward without that vet, I get it. But all of these units seemingly have had that guy, except for the cornerback position, for the Jeff, for the Jerry, and you assume that it's going to be the young guys going forward. So to me, that's the biggest need for me. And then I follow that up with, look at this defensive line. I love what we have, and I say Alim, Hutch, I think Romeo's going to end up sticking around. What Kaminsky has been, Houston now. I feel like we have a lot of guys that you're going to be like, well, they're not going to get taken off the field. But if we could land a big-time defensive tackle and that could be via the draft, but if we could land that to pair up with a Lee McNeil and then have Bugs become your kind of rotational guy instead of like a Benito Jones, I feel really good about that. But offensively, like a lot of it is just getting the guys back. Hey, we're rocking with the same 5 this year. I'm cool with that. Like run this thing back. The only question I got on offense is really guard with Big V. But yeah, for me, it's cornerback.
Yeah. And Dion, too, I mean, as the Lions sit right now, you currently have the 6th pick and the 17th pick. We'll see where that Rams pick shapes up. I mean, if they win next week, things could change. But as of right now, you have 6 and 17. And I've talked about this a lot. The Lions should go defense for both those picks. I don't want a quarterback. I don't want Bijan Robinson, although it's interesting. I will consider it. But where are you at right now in terms of your favorite prospects or just positions of need? What would you do if you're Brad Holmes with that 6th and that 17th pick?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm pretty much with you on that one. Like, yeah, cornerback is definitely in play for me, but I'm with you. I think defensively is just kind of where you have to go. Now, I don't want to say for sure because I do think there's a scenario where maybe guard comes into play there. Like, and I wouldn't have an issue with that because if Big V's out, maybe guard does come into play and you're like, dude, we got to get a starter, plug him in. That I wouldn't have a problem with. But aside from that, offensively, I would struggle with any other first-round pick. Like, I don't know where else you would go. I hope it's not a tight end. Hey. I hope it's not a tight end. But defensively, yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be mainly defense. And to me, it's that defensive tackle. I think another guy you can throw in there to just pair with Aleem going forward because I just don't know about Levi. And I think right now it's just hard, even if you knew he was healthy next year, to anticipate what you're going to get. So those are the 2 main spots. And I don't think we're going to go linebacker high because it doesn't seem like kind of a Brad Holmes thing to do. However, I think running back's interesting. I think that's very interesting with this whole Swift thing. And I loved how he played last week, but we'll see where that goes. But I think running back's very interesting because Brad Holmes is not afraid to go give out some capital on the running back from what he did with LA.
Fair enough. Dion, let me transition here. We've brought up the offseason, what the Lions have done to really turn around their season. Let's talk about Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff probably underappreciated within his own city here in Detroit. For a lot of reasons, right? He came on, he was the guy that was dumped by his, sexy boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. Traded alongside 2 first-round picks. The guy they trade for wins a Super Bowl with basically the team that he was with all those years. And here he is in Detroit, a 3-win team last year. And it's like, all right, where's this going? But Jared Goff has been excellent, Dion. He's been a top 3 a top 3 quarterback in the NFC this year, in my opinion. He's played at a Pro Bowl level. He's been unbelievable. I want your thoughts for the future of Jared Goff. I think he's earned the right to be the starting quarterback next year for sure, and probably the year after. And I think that's a good problem to have because now you give Brad Holmes the time to say, hey, I haven't fallen in love with any quarterback yet. When I do, believe me, I will move heaven and earth and get him. But until then, I'm going to keep building this team. I'm going to keep building this defense. And Jeff always brings this up. This is a young team. They're not going anywhere. It's not like the Lions have a few expiring contracts over the next 2, 3, 4 years and they're going to miss out a lot of players. This is a young team that is here to stay on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Your thoughts on Jared Goff and his future here in Detroit?
You hit on it with us being young. That's a great point, especially with defense. Like, we got a lot of dudes, but for me, Jared Goff, I believe that you can win the whole thing with him, so I'm cool with rocking with him just going forward. But specifically, you hit on the next 2 years, him being under contract the next 2 years. I love where his price is set at. We can always try to lower that, but I don't have an issue where that price is set at based on what we're getting out of him. He's playing so darn well at this point. You're right, he earned next year. So for the next 2 years, I'm good with what we're looking at there with the contract. After that, I guess we'll see where we're at with it. But you make a great point. Like, okay, draft capital this year, and then again next year. Like, that's not my mindset. If he falls in love with someone, sure, take him. But I don't have that guy right now. If he does, that's fine. But you're right, it gives you that buffer. But I think, the main thing is defense. Like, I think we can win the whole thing with this guy. I do. I think he's that good. So I'm cool with rocking with him. I got no problem with it. And the one little thing there, I think the optics were bad. When you have a guy, like you said, that was kind of just like, oh, hey, the Rams don't want him. But I do think there's a lot more in there. Like, we don't know their whole relationship. And I also think on top of it, McVay said it best. Basically, Stafford's the kind of dude, just say F it, right? That's how he plays. Goff's not like that. He didn't draft Goff. Goff is not that play style. He'll just throw it at the ground. He's like, hey, ain't there. So I think that's the difference. And the Lions are making it work with him. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I think the type of quarterback Goff is, it just fits well with what the Lions want to do. And I'm with you, Dion. I want to ask you for next season, because we got a game this Sunday, but I'm looking at the future. Like next year, and again, I mentioned that with Adham a couple days ago as well. The players, they're not going anywhere. The young players, you still have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks. A lot to look forward to. You have some money in free agency. What are your expectations for next season? Because for me, and I'm sure you would agree with me here, this is a team that can legitimately contend and win the NFC North. I do believe that. If you look at the NFC North, you could argue the Lions have the brightest future because even with a team like the Vikings, who this year, a little fraudulent, I got to say, Dion. But at the same time, they're winning games, but they're tied up in cap space. They're going to have to find a way to keep some of these guys defensively. I mean, they can't go out and just fix their secondary. The Lions have a ton of assets. They have a ton of young players that are going to get better. Where are you at for your expectations for next season? What's the goal for this team?
You know what, man? Brad Holmes needs to be in that whole executive of the year conversation. Because honestly, of the last 2 years, it's like it's crazy the rate that he's hitting at, which is always tough because if your team's bad, the guy's going to start. But the rate at which he's hitting these draft picks and then bringing these guys in,
Steph Curry,
the bugs, dude, Steph Curry.
That's the rate he's hitting at.
That's exactly what it is, right? He's shooting from long, and he's nailing on these dudes that you're like, who is this? Jerry Jacobs, like, it's so impressive. But to your point, like, I have high expectations with you because, like I said, there's just a lot of we know what we're going to have next season versus, dude, is Kirk Cousins even going to be the quarterback for the Vikings next year? I mean, you would think, but who knows, right? They get bounced round 1. You said it. They look fraudulent. They're winning close games. But the difference with us is, like, we're handling these bad teams now, which is something I haven't seen. And it's what good teams, like the best teams in the league, do. Like, they can just knock out teams. We haven't had that, like, knockout punch that I can remember. And now it's like that's there. And we're kind of like separating ourselves. So I hope this team gets a chance this year because I really think they could take anybody in the NFC in any given Sunday this year with what they have. But if they don't, yeah, I'm with you. There's no question. I think winning the NFC North is like it's very much in play. And heck, the Lions may come in as favorites next year. I mean, they may come in as favorites to win this.
It wouldn't surprise me. The Bears suck. Packers don't know what they're doing at quarterback in the future. The Vikings, look, as much as I really like their team, they are on the older side. So do they have 2-3 year runway maybe with Kevin O'Connell and this core unit? Sure, but Kirk Cousins isn't scaring me next year for the division. I'm not too worried about that. Dion, did you catch what Mike Martz said about Ben Johnson and what he's done for the offense and that he believes he's been the best offensive coordinator in the NFL? Did you see that?
I didn't see it, but I believe him.
Dude, it's a good watch. It's from the 33rd team on social media. Go to their Twitter, Dion. It's worth the watch. Trust me. You'll enjoy it. But I can't thank you enough for giving us your time today. Thank you so much, Dion, as always. Guys, if you haven't, make sure you've subscribed to Dose of Dion's channel. Yep. He is the man always putting out great Lions content. Dion, thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you early next week after hopefully a Lions win.
Appreciate you, Dion.
Yeah, appreciate you guys, man. The energy was definitely way better than the last one.
Oh, yeah. Thank God.
Good to see you guys.
I can get used to this, Dion. It's much better.
Yes, man. Yes.
Thank you, man. Take care. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great, man.
Yeah, I love Dion. Awesome guy. Team, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a pause. When we get back, I need to fight with Jeff over something. He said something that pissed me off. So we got to talk about that, Jeff. Me and you have beef.
I can't wait.
When we get back. But before we go, Jeff, please, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose a 1/1 effective date. Swiss can make sure and help you that you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give them a shot and you won't be disappointed. Mark at SwissINS.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Chili Peppers Tanning. It's where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D. You could join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations and more. on the way.
Chili peppers, Dan?
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. We just finished up with Dion, and I really enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that to me felt like a full circle moment. That really did. It's
funny,
considering where they were at,
right, when
to
we had
where
him
they
on.
are now, from when we had him on to now we have him on going into this final game against Green Bay. What a difference it's been, and it's been more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think people forget this. My friends always text me in my group chat. Good friends of mine. They're always like, Adam, what works better, when the Lions lose or when they win? And like all of them, for some reason, think when the Lions lose, that's like a good thing. It's not. Nobody cares about a losing team. I think people forget this. The fact that this team is winning is so awesome. And it's brought so much joy to not only us, obviously, here working with the team, but to all of you at home watching. It's much better to watch high energy, optimism. You're looking forward to your future now. That's why the offseason was so fun this year. It's probably the most fun we've had together doing the show. Why? Because you were talking about the draft picks. You were talking about the future, what they could be. Could they improve this year? Year 3, go and win the division. And suddenly, from the bad start to the amazing finish, you're right on track again. And I think that's important, man.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
We've always said when the Lions start winning, man, the city, the aura, the atmosphere is just a little different, right? You're seeing Lions fans, the conversations are a little more positive, right? So, again, it's great for the Lions. Great for Detroit.
Honolulu Blue Sparty says, why would your friends like losing? It's not that they like losing. They were asking me a question. They said, what's better, when the Lions lose or when they win? And what they're referring to is, viewership, engagement. It's like it's no doubt when they win. People think it's the opposite. It's really not. Nobody wants to hear their sports team be talked about in a negative way. It's not fun. You think it's fun talking about it, let alone listening to it? It's not.
Well, when it's certain teams, the Cowboys.
What do you mean?
People love watching when the Cowboys lose for Stephen A. Smith.
Well, that's different.
Well,
So
that's different.
there are certain teams that you want to lose so you get a reaction out of
That's
someone.
different. We're
So-
talking about, from a fan's perspective. Would I want to watch my team go 3-13-1
No.
or watch them go 9-8, 10-7?
No. But like
Much
the
rather watch
Packers,
10-7.
like the Packers and the Bears, we want them to suck, and then we watch their people cry in
but that's
misery, and
different.
it's exciting.
But you're not going out of your way every day watching a show based around your sports team and thinking that way.
That is
Does that
correct.
make sense?
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. Mute your mic, Fish.
I
Shut the
was
hell up.
contributing
Just
to the
shut the hell up.
conversation.
Just shut the hell up.
Fish, you're doing a good job.
I wanted to give you a different reference, but no one would know it, so I chose the Cowboys. That was a good reference.
The Cowboys suck, buddy. You know how many NFC Championship games the Cowboys have played in since 2000?
Like Zippo or 2.
No. The Lions have played in 0.
Oh, the Lions, 0,
Yep.
yeah.
And the Cowboys have played in how many?
Like 2?
0.
Oh, okay.
Think about that. As shit as we've been, excuse me.
Yeah.
As many NFC title game
Yeah.
appearances as the Cowboys. It's kind of sad.
And it's got to be worse, too, because they have good regular seasons, and the fans...
Oh, yeah. Do you guys know who the last quarterback is to lose to the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs?
Stafford.
Anybody?
You say the last quarterback to lose against
the Dallas Cowboys.
Is it Stafford?
Matthew Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. Wow.
Yeah, because since then they've been losing immediately.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Their last win was against the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wild card
Insane
game.
to me. Insane to me. All right, here's what we're going to do. Jeff, we got Mailbag coming up in 6 minutes, so I want to wrap up with what we discussed with Dion. We talked about the offseason. We talked about what they should target. I think, can we agree on this? There's only 28, maybe 30, $31 million available this offseason. You've got 2 first-round picks. You've got 2 second-round picks. You got an abundance of picks.
Right.
You need money to sign them. So realistically, if you're going to go shell out money, it's going to be on one player only. Now, if you're going to sign multiple guys on one-year contracts, fine. But I think you, like Dion said, you're going to want to go get that veteran corner that you can rely on week in and week out. He'll be a mentor to your young secondary. Hopefully you draft a secondary player in the first round, and you really revamp what's been one of the worst secondaries in all of football.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is the key. You have Kirby Joseph progressing. Tracy Walker, who knows what will be next year, but you expect him to be back. He's even said he's ahead of schedule. So you like some of the pieces, Mike Hughes, Deshaun Elliott, They're good, but you need a lot of upgrades. You need a veteran corner, and I think you got to get young at corner and go get a stud in the first round. I know Joey Porter's been the sexy name, Kelly Ringo, yada, yada, yada. We can get all the draft talk later. But are we on the same page? The money is not there that people think it is. That's in 24. This upcoming offseason, you got to sign all your draft picks, and you're lucky to get one big-time, quote, big-time free agent. That's it.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And it has to be corner. I'm with Dion here. And then you look at the free agency for corners. I mean, just top, and I'll read a couple names. Doesn't mean the Lions have to sign these players, but here's who's available. You have Marcus Peters, Bradley Roby, James Bradbury. Like James Bradbury, by the way. That'd be interesting. Jonathan Jones, Anthony Brown, Emmanuel Mosley, Cameron Sutton. There's a lot of options here. Guys that aren't going to be too expensive either. So that is the way for the Lions. After you sign all your rookies, you're not going to have a ton of money left. Maybe you sign a corner, a veteran corner, and after that, maybe you'd sign a one-year deal to a linebacker, whatever the case may be. That's the plan the Lions have to follow, because all the help they need is defensively. I mean, that's been proven this season. The offense as constructed, even without J-Mo, for a majority of the season, they're still a top 5 offense. You could argue top 3. So it's got to be defense, and that secondary needs a veteran. There's been too much. It was supposed to be Ermanni Iafrate at the start of the season, and I will admit, because it's okay to be wrong, I said Ermanni Iafrate was the most underrated player on the Lions defense. Man, I was wrong. And the season he's had went the complete opposite direction. So you're going to need a veteran corner. Like I said, Jeff Okuda's your number 1. That just can't happen. I like Mike Hughes, but he's not your number 1 either. They got to go address it, and there's plenty of free agents available, Adam, that they can do that aren't going to be too expensive.
Fair enough. Well, you know where I went yesterday after work? Planet Fitness. It's now a week and a half straight. I've been at the gym. Pretty proud of myself. Not going to lie. It's a big win for me. And tomorrow we'll be down at Planet Fitness out in Southgate on Eureka Road all day. Morning show, Big D Energy, and Ermanni and Edwards will be live from there. And what are you waiting for? You're going to meet myself, Jeff, Darren McCarty, Maz, Stick, the whole team. You're going to meet them all. And you're going to have a chance to win tickets to watch the Pistons play the 76ers on the 8th of January.
Go Pistons!
Free pizza for everybody who shows up from 12 to 3 p.m. So don't miss out on the pizza. Don't miss out on working out. And don't miss out on signing up for Planet Fitness. $10 a month. That's all it takes. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
We here at Woodward Sports would like to thank everybody who helped us stuff our studio. The third annual Stuff a Studio was a major success thanks in part to our partners at Guardian Alarm and Myers Stores for making it all possible. And of course, we couldn't do it without our community leaders and viewers like you. Thank you for dropping off toys to our studio that were taken to the Mott Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor so every sick child could have a happy holiday.
We are incredibly grateful for Woodward Sports, Guardian Alarm, and Meyer for making the holidays so special for our patients and families.
So what we do is try to bring some normalcy to their lives at this time. This is a labor of love. It brings so much.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been, I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. So what are you waiting for? Shop, eat, and play. Downtown, all winter long. Indoor arcade, putt-putt, you name it, they've got it. Whew. Plus you can grab drinks and food after you play. So check them out. DeckedOutDetroit.com. Look like that girl and her son. Is that a son or daughter? No, it's a son.
That's a son.
I'm blind. I apologize. Having said that, we're back here on the morning.
Shout out to
Woodward
Michael
Show.
Gentry in the booth today, handling all
He's
the
done a hell of a
business.
job. Way better than Westfall. Shows up on time. It's
my guy.
Doesn't miss his cues. You know, a rocky start, but he got his shit together. excellent performance today.
It wasn't really a rocky start on my end. It's you guys
you know what? Excuses were
here, so
you should have tested your preset. You should have done your safety protocol test.
Just saying.
He ain't taking
it.
it.
Firing everybody here. Moving on.
I like how you get the opposite. You get Fish, who just takes it, and then there's Mike and the TD.
Fish
the
loves to take it.
Okay, well, hold on. Now, why we gotta go there? How do we get?
By the way, Westfall was in the chat earlier. I don't think he's still in the
Fish,
chat.
would you rather give it or take it?
Fish, don't answer that
I'd rather
question.
none of the above.
Okay, good. Don't answer that question.
Because I knew you would go to that.
All right, mailbag time. What are you guys waiting for? Get your questions in the chat. Jeff and I will answer them, of course. We'll end the poll for the Hutchinson Rookie of the Year conversation. 73% of you said yes. 73% of you, unfortunately, are wrong. Fish, you had your hand up. What's up?
Did you watch Pistons last night?
I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
I still watch them. I hate them.
Okay.
And I try not to give them too much time. But it was a close game, so I did tune in.
Well, yeah.
I usually just monitor from the CBS Sports app. I'll just,
how do you not?
check how they're doing. And then in the fourth quarter, it was a close game. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll turn it
Well,
on.
I didn't know if you went to bed or not. Because it was late in the night.
I have not bet since Sunday.
I said bed, but betting works too.
Oh, bet. I'm sorry.
But you haven't bet since.
I haven't bet since Sunday. I'm sober.
Okay.
You're sober.
I'm having a little bit of withdrawals.
So wait,
but
when did you go to bed? You went to bed at like 2 a.m.? Okay, I don't know what happened. Your mic just cut out, so I'm gonna go fix that for you. Me? Yeah, I don't know if you hit. Oh yeah, you hit something. What are you doing?
So I'm gonna read Jesse's question.
My fault.
Mailbag.
Stop unplugging stuff. You
Shut the
blame
hell
me.
up, Fish.
I did
All right,
my
Fish.
job.
Shut the hell up.
Fish, I
Get
love
him,
you.
Fish.
Fish, I love you. Let me read this question. Jesse asked Mailbag, if I can guarantee these things, which one are you picking? If the Rams win, we get pick 9 plus winner take all on Sunday Night Football. Seattle wins, we get a top 5 pick. No guarantee we win in Green Bay if the Rams win. Honestly.
Okay, look, I mean, let's all be honest. This is not a debate. You
gotta
want the
go
chance to
playoffs.
make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's always number
all
one.
All right, you want the chance to make the playoffs. All right. Having said that, would I like the pick? I absolutely would. But if you're going to tell me I can pencil in a winner and loser, of course I'm going to pencil in the Rams as the winner. Come on, what are we doing?
And by the way, Jesse, winner doesn't take all because if the Rams win, or if Seattle wins,
then it's
you're
on
done.
the Packers only.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're done. Because even if you beat the Packers, the tiebreaker goes to the Seahawks there.
All right, the average Joe in this chat could shoot better. Shoot what? Oh, the Pistons. Wow.
Yeah.
Sean Wright asks, Mailbag, in your opinion, if Ben Johnson leaves, is Goff's production the same
Yes.
next year?
Oh, the same? No.
If he leaves, would it be the
If
same?
Ben Johnson leaves, okay, this is a two-parter. Is Ben Johnson going to leave? No, he's not. I don't know how many times I have to say this.
Yeah,
Number two,
I don't think this offseason.
If he does, and maybe when he does, yes, I do think Goff will take a step back because I do think Ben Johnson has been everything to Goff. I'm not taking away credit from Goff, but is he this good with 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, less than 7 interceptions, whatever it may be? Wow. That is impressive, and I think that is a credit to Goff and Ben. I think they deserve a lot of credit, both of them. But if Ben Johnson walks, yes, I do think Goff takes a step back.
Yeah, and this question too, Dirty Burrito, interesting name by the way.
Why would you read it?
Because I love reading the names. They're funny. Dirty Burrito asks, Mailbag, instead of how Hutch can win Defensive Rookie of the Year, how does Sauce lose it? I don't think he can lose it.
He doesn't lose it.
Yeah,
you can't lose it when you're giving up. All right, here, let's do the number. Let's do the math. Guys, give me 13 seconds, and I'll make this happen.
Okay.
I mean,
the total number is 302. 302 divided by 17. What's that? 302 divided by 17. Sauce Gardner gives up, on average, 18 yards a game. He's the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He can give up 100 yards on Sunday, and he will still be giving up less than 20 yards or 20 yards a game.
Yeah, it's still
through the year.
Still pretty impressive.
Sauce Gardner's Defensive Rookie of the Year. Sorry, guys. He's been the best rookie. Aidan's been the second best rookie. It's not a knock on Aidan. It's just the reality that Sauce Gardner has been wow. There's nothing wrong with that.
My guy Jake Dodds asks, Mailbag, would you take 2 corners in the first round? No. I wouldn't take 2 corners.
I would take 1, though.
Yeah, I would take a corner.
My intention is taking a corner in the first round. I think that is very important.
Mm-hmm. There was another question by Jesse. I thought you'd like to answer.
Oh, go for it.
Guys, he says, Jesse asks, guys, is Adham Beydoun's BFF Lincoln Riley the college version of Josh McDaniels? Riley has 6 L's when holding a 14+ plus point lead since 2017. It's the worst in all of college football.
All right.
What do you think about that statistic, Adam?
Yeah, your best friend for losing.
He said 1 second. Hold on, Jesse.
1 second.
He's cooking something up.
I'm going to answer your question fairly.
Okay.
Since 2017, there's only 2 schools and 2 coaches that have more wins than Lincoln Riley. That's Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. Fair?
It's pretty fair.
Now, does he tend to blow leads? Does his defense suck absolute balls? Yes, it does. But if that's what we're going to go with Lincoln Riley, I mean, you have at it, Jesse. I know you're giving me shit about it, so it's all good.
Banks asks, Mailbag, Jeff and Adam, Cade Ivey, Kuzma, Victor Duran. Is that a playoff team, and how many wins over under 40? I mean, listen.
I'd rather shave my face and get rammed in the ass than have Kyle Kuzma on this team.
Why? What's wrong with Kyle Kuzma?
We learned not to make bets like that.
I said I would rather. I didn't say it was a bet.
Well, just don't
Shut the
say
fuck up.
anything
Wait,
because when you say certain things,
Shut the fuck up.
Hold up. Run that back. What'd you just say? You'd rather do
See?
what?
Are you really going to have this conversation with me? You look like a gringo when your hair's bald, huh?
You said you do what? If Kuzma
Don't worry about what I'll do. I'm just saying I don't want Kyle Kuzma on this team.
Kuzma's, I agree with the chat. Kuzma's a bucket. I like Kuzma.
I don't care if he's a bucket. I don't want him here.
Okay. All right.
Guys,
damn.
you got
Like
to build
Kuzma.
a damn team first, huh?
That's part.
No, man, not Kyle Kuzma.
Hey.
Get out of here, man.
So what if he?
Get outta
Okay, so
here.
if he comes
And
here, you gotta shave.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I have personal beef with Kyle Kuzma. I just don't like him. I've never liked him. Having said that, I will give him credit. He's been a bucket this year with Washington.
All right, there you go.
Right?
We compromise.
I can't not give him credit.
There's another question.
But he's taking up way too much, by the way, on that team. He takes 17, 18 shots a game. It's kind of ridiculous.
He's
Well, that's what you have to do to be a bucket.
Mailbag.
It's called basketball.
What would you like to see the Lions on the Lions schedule for next season as far as opponents or possible primetime games? I don't really have a preference. I just would like the Lions to get off to a better start than 1-6. So whatever that looks like. I can't wait for the schedule to come out because then you can be me like me and Mike did this year. We picked our wins and losses. We both had 8-9. So we have a chance to be right on the money.
Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year, if they win against the Packers?
No. I think it's at this point. I think to win Coach of the Year, he would have to win Carolina, Chicago, and the Packers. To me,
9-8 doesn't get it done.
I don't think so because you have that ugly loss against the Panthers. It's kind of like a stain. In Sirianni, I mean, the best record in the NFC. I gotta give it to Sirianni at this point.
Right now, Nick Sirianni. Excuse me. Let me just double check. Nick Sirianni is the favorite at 1. Kyle Shanahan coming in at 2. Doug Peterson at 3. Brian Dable at 4. Dan Campbell has fallen all the way to 5.
That loss pushed him 4 spots down
because he was number 2, right?
I knew.
Oh no, you're right. 3 spots down.
Yeah, because he was 2. Well, there you go. Answers
There's
the
your
question.
answer. It's Nick Sirianni. Honestly, if I was voting today, I'd give it to Kyle Shanahan. Winning with a backup quarterback.
With Brock Purdy.
Unbelievable.
Honestly, you might be onto something.
How would you order the Detroit sports teams in terms of closeness to success to winning a championship? I will say
we'll probably
Red
agree.
Wings 1.
Yes, sir.
Lions 2.
Yep. Don't you dare say
Tigers 3, Pistons 4.
What?
Yikes. Jeff, fight him.
Closest.
Fight him.
How far away are they from contending in the Eastern Conference? 4 years? 3 years?
I don't think 4 years, maybe 3.
Like getting to an Eastern Conference final. How long?
A couple of years.
3-4 years.
Yeah, I would say. As these guys get older. And
in baseball,
we don't know
you can turn that around in 1 year.
But if Troy acquires a star,
he's not going to.
Okay, so you know that.
He's going to sign a free agent like Kevin Durant.
I never said he's going to sign Kevin Durant.
What do you mean by acquiring a
Look
star?
at the Cleveland Cavaliers. They went out and got Donovan. Now they're contenders in 1 year.
I agree with Jeff here.
You go find me Donovan Edwards or Donovan Mitchell. Go ahead. How? So you have Kate Cunningham, Jaden Ivey.
Less about the Pistons. Explain to me the Tigers' plan.
Fight.
Explain.
You want the Tigers' plan?
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Are they going to spend money?
I don't know.
Oh, I know. It's no. So how are they getting?
Wow.
How are they going to get there? Tell me. Lay it out for me.
Oh my goodness. How are they going to get there?
Lay it out for me.
All right, it's quite simple. They spend money consistently for the next 2 years.
So they gotta spend money.
Wait. They got to spend money for the next 2 years consistently. They got to figure out how the hell they're going to move some of the money that they have on the players they currently have. But last I checked, Jaden Ivey's 19 years old. Cade Cunningham's 20 years old. Ivey's 19 or 20?
He's
It's
20.
He just turned 20.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
Regardless, these guys are 3-4 years away from becoming all-star players, let alone even hitting their peak. It took Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors 6 years to make the playoffs, let alone win a playoff series.
So which of the Tigers are going to be all-stars? Give me a
guy. I don't think you're understanding. I'm not telling you that the Tigers are going to do it, but being close, the Tigers can turn it around like that. The Pistons can't. Unless Cade Cunningham comes back next year and he's a top 10 player in the NBA, which isn't going to happen. I think you're a bit delusional on your Pistons.
I think you're delusional on the Tigers.
I'm not. I'm just telling you that the Pistons are really far away.
Because the Tigers aren't?
I don't think you're understanding how baseball works. Baseball, you can go out and acquire talent, no problem.
Okay,
in the
so
NBA,
what
the
changed?
talent pool is this much. Wait, hear me out. The talent pool is this much, Jeff. You're not going to go out and sign a veteran free agent who's going to come in and change your fortunes. You got to wait for Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham to develop into star players. Yes or no? And then you're going to sit here and have another top 3 pick this year, and you're going to want Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson, or whoever the hell it is, and then you're going to get even younger. The Pistons are nowhere near being a championship team. It's about a championship, not making the playoffs. Championship. You're still 5-6 years away from talking about this team being a championship team. Why the hell would I put them in third?
Because they have a ton of young,
so the
promising
Tigers
players.
in 5 years.
They have assets.
The Tigers
they have
in
money.
5 years. Wait, the Tigers in 5 years can't put together a team that can contend for the ALCS?
You're going to put
They can do it in 2-3 years, I bet you.
Could and will are different. I mean,
can the Pistons do it in 2-3 years? No, they can't. That's a fact.
It's a fact. You're saying
they will not be able to contend in the Eastern Conference to get to a conference championship in 3 years.
I'm just confused. What happened the last couple months
Nothing
before the
happened.
season? You said the
Nothing
Pistons
happened.
were third, and now they're fourth.
And I
what
told
happened? What new information?
I'm telling you.
What new information was presented?
They suck this year.
They're always going to suck. We knew that. 30
the
wins.
projection was 30 wins.
And I said that was
They're
it.
lucky to get
Max.
19-22 this year.
Without Cade, 10 wins less. That sounds about right.
My goodness.
Sounds about right. Well,
My goodness. I don't think you understand something,
No,
Jeff. If I were to tell you to put your money on who's going to make the conference championship in the next 2-3 years, is it the Pistons? Is it the Tigers? Who would you put your money on?
The next 3 years?
The next 2 to 3 years.
I would say the Pistons. They have talent.
Makes no sense
They have
to me.
talent. They have assets.
That is insane to
and
me.
they have a general manager that has
fucking
proven
ludicrous.
So bet on an organization that has an owner that
Gentry, you
is
want to shut
unwilling
him
to
off?
spend money and a GM that
Troy
you don't
Weaver.
know is good yet.
I like Troy Weaver. I love Scott
At least
Harris
Troy's
too.
proven-
I think
you like
Scott Harris.
Scott. What has he done that you love
he
him
just
over
got
Troy?
there. He just got there.
So now he just got there.
Yeah, again, you're missing the point, man. It's about who's closest to a championship, not who's up and coming and has a more optimistic future. Of course the Pistons do right now. But in baseball, you can turn it around quicker than you can in the NBA. Because in the NBA, shut the fuck up, Fish. You have to wait for your star players to develop, yes or no. And you're going to add another one in Victor Wembanyama, maybe, in this upcoming draft, yes or no. So you're going to have to wait another 4 or 5 years for him to develop.
4 or 5 years.
That's how long it takes for these guys to become stars. Not everybody's Luka Doncic, Jeff.
No one's saying Luka Doncic, but okay, go on.
You want a star player. Name me young star players in the NBA right now.
Tomorrow.
That's all.
We got to end the show. We're 3 minutes in.
No, I'm going to fucking continue.
No, you
You
can die on that.
You shut the fuck up.
You could die on the Tigers Hill. That's fine. That's
walk me
fine.
through young stars right now that you like. Do you like Jason Tatum? Do you like Jason Tatum?
Yeah, I
he's
do
in
like
his
Jason
6th
Tatum.
season. He didn't become a star until year 4.
But they were contending with Kyrie early on because they went and acquired Kyrie. You can acquire stars.
When have the Pistons ever acquired a star free agent? Never. Shut the fuck up. Well, what are we talking about?
Okay, so bank on Scott Harris. Smart one. All right, go with that. That's
All right.
fine.
All
If,
right.
Scott
I
Harris
can't believe we're
versus a
doing
GM
this.
who's proven to me he can identify talent. That's fine.
He can
Go on.
identify talent.
And
Has he built a championship roster?
And by the way,
and you know
go
they're
spend
3
money.
4 years away.
Go spend money with the
You
Tigers.
know they're. It's not the point.
'Cause you're
Jeff.
saying they
You're
can.
asking again. The question is who's closer. Am I wrong by saying that in baseball you can doing it the right way, like you said, spending money? But is this wrong or right? In baseball, you can change it. Wait, in 2 years by acquiring talent. In the NBA, you can do it as well. But the Lions, the Pistons aren't spending that kind of money. They're not attracting a Kevin Durant, a Jason Tatum to come play in Detroit, buddy. What are you talking about here?
Donovan Mitchell was traded to Cleveland.
Traded.
You can't trade.
Who are they going to trade for?
What are you talking about?
Who are you going to trade for? Tell me. Show me the roadmap.
No one knew Donovan was available till a couple months ago. You don't know. I'm telling you that
You've got
listen.
Jaden Ivey, Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes,
No.
Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, all young, and you're going to tell me that they're closer to a championship when all these players still need 2 to 3 years just to develop and fit the mold of potentially, like some of them, Cade, Ivey, becoming star players. And I'm telling you, in baseball, you can turn it around like that.
Oh,
but they're not close.
Can't wait for the Tigers to turn it around.
I'm not
like
telling
that.
you they are. It's about who's closer. In baseball, you can turn it around.
You don't
faster.
say. You can't use the Tigers and say baseball. We're talking about the Tigers.
And
will the Tigers be a contending in 2 to 3 years? Will they?
think so. Yes.
Okay.
Closer than the
we'll
Pistons.
revisit this in 2 to 3 years.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun.
Jesus
I
Christ.
cannot wait.
Jesus Christ.
I can't wait.
All right, we're over the show.
I've been telling you that for
Fish,
7
you
years.
shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
We're ending the show. Thank you guys so much for joining. As always, Jeff, you're the man. Mike, thank you for doing a better job than Westfall. Fish, we still need to find a way to replace you. We're out here. Check out Big E Energy coming up at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow we're live at Planet Fitness. Don't miss it.
Southgate.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Go have a great day, everybody. Go watch Chelsea vs. City. How do you not?